everybody, to the NorCal Sports Network, and the San Francisco Giants are on a roll. They've reached 500 at 24-24. This is Dan Cucimilio along with Eric Romo coming to you live. And what a win that was tonight, because the Giants looked dead, down 3-0. Offense couldn't get anything going, and they benefited from two base-loaded walks to get their first two runs. And then Michael Conforto again comes through with, was that his 10th homer or 9th?
It's somewhere around there. I'm not sure exactly what. It's
I'll have to check it out. Michael Conforto. Let me look at the box score here. See what the somebody will probably beat me to it in the chat before. Box score, Conforto number 10. Yes.
Number 10. All right. Double digits
number
already.
10. So Giants with a big victory, 24-24. They've won 8 of 9. This is what I was telling you guys, that they need to put together an 8 of 10 streak and win on this road trip, because honestly, I really felt like they were going to come back 24-29, but I'm hoping that they keep proving me wrong. This is a combination of youth coming up to really put some energy into the club. I think Casey Schmidt, Patrick Bailey, Camilo Duvall is pitching great. That's 12 saves out of 13 opportunities. I mean, he's putting together right now a season like Edwin Diaz did, where he, was, automatic saves. This is what you want. Again, I've been saying all along, this is a long season. Anything can happen. See what they do, but give them credit. Give them credit, because right now they're playing good baseball. Wade is getting on base. Conforto's picking it up. He was hitting 175 a week and a half ago. He's up to 219. So he's raised his average almost 45 points. And he's hitting the long ball, and he's hitting them in timely manner. His home runs have counted this year. I think he won one game early in the season. When they were losing going to get swept by Kansas City, he knocked one out in the bottom of the 8th. So his home runs have been not just any type of home runs, but coming in clutch moments. So Conforto looking good. Pitching wise, see, the bullpen's cleaned up. The bullpen has picked things up. They were awful the first month, I'd say 35, 40 games of the year. The last 10 games, it's no coincidence that the bullpen is pitching well, and the Giants are, being able to hold leads or make some comebacks. So good overall win. Tomorrow they go for the sweep and see what comes of it. And then they got Milwaukee coming, which is interesting because Eric Lauer just went on the IL.
Yeah, he did. They picked up Julio Tyron.
They did. Okay. But they've got 3 starters out, Milwaukee. Woodruff, Eric Lauer, and another key pitcher is out right now on the IL. So maybe the Giants catch him in a,
right time. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully.
I don't know. What did you think of that Minnesota crowd? I don't think that stadium looked like it was too packed in there, huh?
Yeah.
Maybe they're having tough times there in Minnesota.
Yeah.
We got to talk about the crowds, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So Mario says, is he turning into the right show? Too much positivity right now. Well, Mario, we're just going to put it like it is. They're playing good, Yeah,
they are. They're playing good.
I'll give credit where credit's due, and hopefully they can keep it going. We'll see. I mean, it's a long season. Going to have ups and downs, but they're at 500 at a good point. What you have right now is you have a team that is actually staying close, very close to contention. In fact, if we look at the actual standings right now, they're 6 out in the West. I don't see them winning the West, but stranger things have happened in baseball. But if you look at the wild card, that's, they're a half game out of the wild card. They've moved into really next in line. They're tied with Miami. So you've jumped about 4 or 5 teams in this 10-day stretch. And that's what you want to do, is stay in that wild card hunt and then have the farm produce. And then you've got some trade bait. And then you can add on. I really, really like Patrick Bailey behind the dish. He's a great framer. Picked up a couple of strikes tonight in the 9th inning that were balls. Camilo Duvall had a couple pitches that were below the strike zone. Bailey quickly lifted him. I don't know if the umpire just missed those calls without the frame job fooling him, or if he was going to call him, whatever. But it's possible that Bailey's framing is kind of playing a key role. Sable is raking. Safi says yes. Sable is, he's hitting, I want to say about 285 roughly. Let's see, what's he hitting? Box score, Sable 286. Yeah, hitting 286. That's pretty darn good for a rookie that's barely saw AAA.
And you know what? Maybe he'll start hitting a little bit better. He doesn't have to concentrate on catching as much.
Yeah. Hey, Robert, I will get season tickets if the house starts to get packed. I'm not buying season tickets and eating them, okay? There's still people not showing up to the Giants games. And I don't think they're going to show up until this team really shows that they are competitive and going to stay competitive. I think a key might be when Kyle Harrison comes up. If Kyle Harrison comes up, starts pitching well, look out. He's a local kid. You could get some excitement there. Mad Bum looks like his career may be over, but
yeah, I saw that article.
He might be interesting just to sign for some attendance figures and maybe use him as a bullpen guy just for the we'll see where it goes. I don't know. I mean, he may be completely washed and it may not be a good move. Liam's crazy channel says, I know Harrison was going today. Let me check and see his stats. I'll pull it up right now. I was going to actually watch that game. It's actually still going on, the Sacramento game. Let me pull it up here and see what Harrison. They've been kind of limiting Harrison's pitches to about 4 innings generally. I'm going to look at the current game here.
I agree with you. Matos, he hasn't slowed down. So I think he's batting like 409 right now in AAA. He's got like 9 hits out of 22 at bats. I don't know if this is before the game started, so I don't know where he's at now. But he's got like 2 doubles, 2 triples, 1 strikeout, 1 walk. So,
all right. So Harris,
I don't know. You may have seen him play already, Senior. But
wow,
looking at the numbers, he seems like a leadoff guy.
Guy. Harrison may be. He pitched 4 innings. They kind of watch his pitches, his count. He may be up soon. He pitched 4 innings, 9 Ks, 1 walk. His problem's been base on balls. He's getting the base on balls, command a little better. They have the automatic strike zone.
Oh, that's right.
In AAA, and the high pitches are not getting called. Just at the so that's great. lowered his ERA to 4.11, which is very respectable in the Pacific Coast League. But 9 Ks. Let me see how many pitches, if they have his pitch count. 60.
Averaging 2 strikeouts an inning.
Yeah, 61 pitches, 40 strikes. Good for Kyle Harrison. I'm going to tell you, he's going to be up before the All-Star break. If this, I can't see if he keeps pitching like this.
Yeah, why keep doing the bullpen games when you can bring him up?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, Manaea pitched well last night. 8 strikeouts and 3 1/3.
Yeah.
Yeah, Robert Rothberg, I beat you to it before your comment came in there. But Harrison's out now. But he pitched 4 innings, 61 pitches. I don't know if they're going to let him go more than 75 pitches in a game. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe they're doing that for the stretch run coming the dog days of August. Because if they're throwing him out there with going like 90 pitches now, maybe they'll burn him out. So not fresh in the summer. Yeah.
They did this last year to him too. So they're really watching his pitch counts. I'm not sure how my voice is coming through. I think my mic is dead, and I think I'm using my laptop speakers right now or whatever I'm going through. So I apologize if I'm not coming through as loud as I normally would. But going back to season tickets, me getting season tickets, the problem with season tickets is if you don't go to the games and you want to sell them and get your money back, it's tough to do because you're competing against the Giants undercutting you. And that, frankly, is kind of what pissed me off. Actually gave me a little bit of a sour attitude toward the ball club because, you're the ones helping pay the salaries. You're fitting the footing the bill, so to speak, for the budget, and then they just disregard you altogether and sell tickets for $5 underneath you, or just doing all these promotions because nobody's showing up. So what else? And that's right. Dan doesn't go to the game. It's all biz for him. I love going to the games. I just don't live up there. If I was back living in the Bay Area, I'd go to the majority of them, probably half to 2/3. But let's see what else. Let's see. Bailey needs to play every day. He's helping these pitchers a lot. He's doing well. Bard does a good job too, I think, behind the plate. It's not a bad combo. Mark Gray says, "What's up, Romo and Dan?" Hey, Mark.
How's it going, Mark?
Let's see what else we got in the comments here. I'm going back to wait till Jock returns. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Going back. Let's see. Conforto is on fire, Josh says. So that's roughly about it. But hey, if you guys are in that chat and go ahead and hit the like button, it would be great. I do have a Rode mic, I believe. No, I don't. Actually, it's Ryan has all that mic stuff, and he had me all set up when he came down here for spring training. He has all the tech stuff. I'm not a very technical guy, to be honest, but I do need a new mic. I think this mic is shot. I don't know what happened. I have the Yeti, this blue mic, and I'm not even using it right now because when Eric and I tested it before the show, it wasn't working. Although you don't hear it any louder through the mic, Eric?
You sound good. It doesn't sound like you're through your mic, but it's still sufficient.
Now this is because it's really loud in my ears. It's coming through like You don't hear that? Okay. It's just in my ear. All right. I'm going to turn it back off because it's echoing. You can hear me still?
Hear you. Yep.
Okay, good. Yeah, I got to go get a new mic. Robert says, are you more optimistic now? I am, because of a couple reasons, Robert. I told you, for the team to compete, Conforto's got to play well, which he's starting to do. And Haniger's coming around a little bit. But what's coming around is defense is getting better. Casey Schmidt has played a huge role along with Patrick Bailey. Don't let their just their offensive numbers, if they start to slide, fool you, because defensively Bailey is calling a really good game, and he's gives the pitching staff a lot of confidence. Plus, Casey Schmidt's enthusiasm, his just his overall defense. He's excellent defender, and he's been hitting well. I don't expect Casey Schmidt to keep hitting the way he's hitting. I mean, nobody's going to do that. But if I look at his, let me look at his batting average. It's probably around 400 or so. 340. Yeah, it's starting to fall. I don't expect Casey Schmidt to even hit 300 this year as a rookie, but he might hit 275 plus, and he may hit 300. I doubt it, but if he does, that's a super bonus on top of his defense. Easton Diaz
is awesome.
Yeah.
As far as his bat, I just want him to maybe tone down the aggressiveness a little bit. Maybe have to, if the pitch isn't there, don't swing. It's okay to take a walk here and there. He hasn't drawn one walk yet, so I don't want the pitchers to start honing in on his aggressiveness and throw pitches out of the zone and he's swinging.
Yeah. Diaz just hit a homer. MF says another homer for Easton Diaz. I expect Easton Diaz to be up in a few weeks if he keeps hitting and Wisely is not hitting because Wisely is basically your second baseman, center fielder. I think, you can move. Slater will be back at some point.
You know what? Safi has a point here. I didn't even think about this. Maybe this was the goal of signing Pete Petulia in the first place. Maybe he's just a player development type of guy. I mean, yeah, he's the GM, but his focus and his
specialty,
expertise, I would say, is the minor league guys.
It has been with Houston, yes, and that may be very well true.
And maybe he's the one that's pushing for these guys. It's like, hey, I've seen this in Houston. I know what I'm seeing. You guys need to call these guys up. And maybe that's the.
Well, let's take a look. Let's take a look something here. This is always a fun exercise. Let's take a look at the Giants roster, okay? And let's look the guys who are contributing, and I'll tell you their ages, okay? They're not as okay. So Patrick Bailey, he's contributing 23. Let me go on to the active roster. I was looking at the 40-man. So Bailey's 23. Tristan Beck had a good game the other night, 26.
Yep.
Brebbia has been having a good year, 32. Yep. Cobb for 35 is having an excellent year. Okay, Conforto, 30. To me, the cutoff's really 31, 32. Anything over that production-wise, when you get it, that's a bonus. Conforto, 30, I mentioned, starting to hit 10 homers. Crawford, 36, hasn't got it going yet. J.D. Davis, 30, having a really good year. DeSclafani, 33, bonus. He's having a decent year. Duvall, okay? There's a guy that's going to start selling some jerseys this year, I believe.
Yeah.
Camilo Duvall, number 75. That's a jersey seller. Patrick Bailey, there's a guy you can buy a jersey, number 14. Tyro Estrada, 39. That's a jersey, 27. Wilmer Flores, 31, mid. Yeah, okay.
He's a role player.
Yeah, exactly. Haniger, 32, hasn't got it going yet. Bryce Johnson, 27, good speed, good guy to have on the roster at the bottom end for late inning defense and pinch running. Jacob Junis, 30, doing okay. Not great yet, but okay. Manaea had a good outing in the bullpen, out of the bullpen yesterday, 31. Taylor Rogers and Tyler Rogers, both 32. Doesn't look like Kapler has a ton of confidence yet in Taylor Rogers. Went with
Alexander
last night, and again, he pitched again tonight, didn't he?
Alexander?
He did, yeah. Okay. Blake Sable, 25, another guy that is a guy that I believe is a guy you can get behind because I think he does nothing but get better. He's getting major league experience. He's he's hitting the ball hard when he hits it, hitting 286, playing, a decent left field. Nothing that you can say, oh, he's such a liability out there, we can't stick him out there. No, he's doing all right. He's made some pretty good catches out there. Say Casey Schmidt, 24, definitely go buy a number 6 jersey this year. Lamont Wade Jr., 29, having a comeback year. Ryan Walker, too early to tell, but only 27. Logan Webb, 26. Wisely, 24. Wood, 32. And Yaz, 32. So the guys that I see that, if I was looking and saying, who could I, who am I going to put as a Giants PR staff to start promoting jerseys? Now, Sable, if I knew they were going to keep him, a whole year, and the Giants know they should start promoting him. They should start obviously Webb. So we got Webb. I'm going to go backwards because I'm at the bottom. I'm going to go backwards alphabetically. So Webb and Schmidt, there's 2. Let's just say definite. Sable's not ready yet. Maybe. Okay. So you want to get if you're a jersey collector and you want to be around, Giants that you can get behind, let's go Webb, Schmidt. There's 2. Skipping to Estrada, 3. Duvall, 4. Crawford, just because he's Brandon Crawford and it might be his last year. It's always good to have a Crawford jersey as a Giant. Conforto, not yet. We don't know how long he's going to be here and how he's going to finish up. So I've got how many jerseys? 4?
Yeah.
JD Davis might be a guy. He's a California, Northern Cal guy.
Yeah, up in these neck of the woods, Elk Grove.
Yeah, let's get JD Davis. Let's give him a jersey. He's a guy you can get behind. And Bailey. There we go. So there's your guy. There's your 6 jersey guys right now, in my opinion. The guys that you might say, hey, these guys are going to be here for a few years. So
I'm telling you, Dan, what do you think? I mean, and I see Senior. I agree with what he said. Well, what Senior says talking about Matos. Yeah, I would put in Matos over Yaz anytime right now. The way that he's performing in AA and still in AAA. And here's the question: who comes up first? You think Matos or Harrison? Who gets the call up first?
Harrison. It also, if nothing changes, if injuries don't dictate, if there's if there's an injury to an outfielder,
I think Matos is the first one to get called up.
Let me see.
Because Ramos, I think he got transferred to the 60-day.
He did. He's got an oblique, and he's out for at least another 40 days, 45 days, because he was out for a couple weeks prior to that. So I think your next call-ups are looking here at the outfield. It could be Matos. Could be I mean, if he keeps hitting around between 350 and 400 in AAA,
he's playing
Yeah.
himself into the position of
Yeah.
being called up.
Yeah. So, so I think they leave him down there until, he either knocks the door down and just is doing so well, or
Man,
somebody
I
gets
would
hurt.
love to see Matos and Estrada in like number 1 and 2 in the lineup.
Some
In the lineup.
speed.
Man, yeah. I mean, you got speed. I mean, that's kind of like old school, but I mean but his bat can play. I mean,
Yeah. Look how much the roster, I mean, the tone of the team, even you can see it even in the dugout when guys are having success, the excitement. It's the young guys that are bringing it up.
Yeah.
It's the energy's coming from Schmidt and Sable. Sable's kind of a loud guy. And the Celtics, just by the way, for basketball fans, hung on, just defeated Miami Heat in Game 4, avoiding a sweep. This series may go 6 now because the Celtics are going back with momentum. And wow. But Miami, I don't see Miami losing Game 6.
Ooh, this is rough. I get what you're saying, Eddie. Yeah, I mean, he is a liability in the lineup right now. I mean, man, that's a tough call.
They ain't gonna let Crawford go.
They're not. No, I know. Yeah, they're not. They can't do that. It would look really bad. I know. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, you got to play your best players. I understand that, but this is his last year. I'm pretty sure. I don't see him coming back next year. He's been a 10-year Giant for his whole career. So I mean,
MF says bring up Von Brown. He's going to have to make a stop in Sacramento first, MF, to, they're not going to promote him directly from AA.
Oh, and Brown, it's a really, really small sample size, but he's batting 400 in Richmond.
Yeah, Brown's hit at every level. So he may be up in Sacramento by the end of June, okay? If he keeps hitting, he will be in Sacramento by the end of June. What are we laughing at?
This guy.
Tell Farhan iHeart doing okay job for his. Okay, there we go. Is that the one you don't want to put those ones up on? You gotta put the ones up about yourself and laugh at yourself sometimes too. Some of these guys come up with some good ones, but if
it's good.
If they get too personal, then you just put them in.
I agree with what Senior says here. Schmidt has a great mentor in having Crawford. That's going to pay dividends big time.
Yeah.
It really is. Because, I mean, Crawford knows the game. So,
yep.
And he's going to be his heir apparent, Well, maybe. I guess we'll see what happens at third. But
Robert says, how much value does Bart have regarding a trade? I think he's still got some value. He's 26. He's a catcher. He's a good catcher. I don't know what the Giants have done to him with his swing, if they've messed up his psyche or what. I mean, he's not hitting home runs this year. Don't know why. Hit 10 last year. Yeah, I don't agree with that, Eddie. You don't treat a vet that way. You treat him, somebody who's come up in your organization that's won 2 world championships, who's signed to stay with the Giants, probably at a reduced rate at $16 million a year. The year before coming off the 21 season, looks like a lot now. Looks like, oh man, Giants overpaid, but he could have got a lot more if he left, and he wanted to stay here. You let him go out with dignity and grace, and I don't think you've seen the last of Brandon Crawford. He's a vet. Remember, they were saying the same thing about Klay Thompson. He's old, he's washed, and these vets. Remember, Crawford's been a streaky hitter most of his career. He's gotten very, very hot in the month of June a lot. enough to make all-star teams where he was hitting, 450 for a month or whatever. So we'll see. He's definitely on the tail end, if not the end of his career, but I'm not throwing, Brandon Crawford out to the wolves and saying, get out of here. That's just.
I like what Senior says here. That's a really good point. Just let the team play without pressure. Don't expect much. It will be a very successful year.
Oh, yeah, this one. Okay.
This year is all about development, and if they're in the race, cool. I like that. Good point.
Yeah. So I've actually got to run, Eric, soon. But if you want to just carry on, I think the chat would like to keep going for a while. Let's see. Does anybody want to come in? We can invite somebody in. I'm going to step out here by 8:30. I got to run somewhere. But I didn't want to miss 2 nights in a row with the Giants winning to reach 500. Let me put the chat in here, guys. And anybody want to come in and co-host? Now is your time to come into this show. There it is. Okay, I just put the link in. NorCal Sports Network link, StreamYard, West Coast Bias. That's Rye. He uses my StreamYard. Anyone want to come in? Robert, you want to come on in? Show yourself?
Hey, Dan, is Ryan ever going to come on some of these?
I can ask. Let me see if Rye's on here. Let me ask him here. All right. So we'll see if Graves can come in. Mark, you want to come in? 49er says Rothberg, go in. Come on, Robert. The chat needs some positivity. They need an older man than me not being negative.
Hey, there's no negativity today.
No, hey, I'm not going to dog a team they've won what? 7 of 8 or 8 of 9? What is it?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
7
and they're at 500. How about that?
Yeah. I mean, Robert should go on. Look at this. The chat wants you, Robert. Robert, explain why we come on. Senior softball games. Somebody's got to come in. Come on. Come on in with Eric. Eric can run the board. He can close it. You know how to close it, right, Eric?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just hit the banner and then hit end broadcast.
Yeah, I got to do the intro for the outro.
Yeah, intro for the outro. We don't have an outro yet. We got to come up with an outro. It's the same as the intro.
Wasn't Ryan supposed to work on an intro with the different clips?
Yeah, that's right. We need our tech department to get on the ball here. Dan, you interviewed Farhan in spring. No, I didn't. I was standing next to him and Dave Fleming while they had a conversation for a while, and Farhan took right back into the offices, and I chased out. I walked out of the building with Dave Fleming, and that's when he did a little promo for the channel.
Yeah, that was cool.
And Dave Fleming, by the way, said he thought this Giants team this year would be pretty good. So I asked him, I said, what do you think? He says, this is a better ball club than last year. So we'll see. Maybe they're starting to put it together, Maybe Conforto, 48 games into the season is starting to get back into hey, I'm seeing the ball again, and maybe it just, Dan, running a team with emotion gets you the seller. If the player sucks, he's earned the right to get booted. Yeah. Would you boot Buster Posey if he had a bad last year? Would you boot Willie Mays if he stunk? Willie McCovey? I'm not saying Craw is a Hall of Famer like the rest of those guys, because I believe Posey's a Hall of Famer and
Yeah, Crawford was part of 2 of those World Series, and
Plus, he's from the Bay Area. He grew up a Giants fan.
Grew up a Giants fan. Yeah, that picture with him when he was a kid.
Yeah, you just don't. Yeah, you can. There's ways to work around it. There's the injury list. There's playing him every 3rd day. Giving him rest, making him a part timer.
Hiroku brought that up, playing him just 3 times a week, and he should put up some decent numbers because it gives him that rest. Because I bet you that knee is still bothering him.
What's my starting salary if I come on? Adam says $2. Yeah, how about 2 pesos? Let's see. Yeah, 49er says he saw Dwayne Kuiper in a restaurant in Danville. Saying, does he not travel with the team anymore? Not much. More California, Arizona. He'll go to Arizona. He'll go to LA, San Diego.
Hey, that's something we need to probably talk about towards the end of the season. I think this broadcasting crew is probably going to be changing here pretty soon. John Miller, Kuiper,
Kuiper. Maybe so. Yeah. In fact, you hear about NBC Sports Bay Area fired Glenn Kuiper.
Yeah, I saw a blurb.
Oh, MF just put that up. Yeah, this is a bad mistake. I think you take his record as a whole, his 20 years. I don't think you fool the city of Oakland, the Bay Area, which is very diverse. If you're some kind of racist, I don't think you fool people for that many years. He had a bad slip of the tongue. I don't think you throw away a guy's career. It's just we live in a woke world today. Make one mistake and it's like, man, if we were all judged by one mistake, we'd all be out of a job. I don't know. I just think he, felt bad about it. He was contrite. He felt horrible. Come on, So, what else we got? Oh, 9:30. SG Sports Talk says he'll join. Chardall says he could join at 9:30. We're not going to be here at 9:30.
We ain't going to be here at 9:30.
Oh, Chardall, you could come in now if you were ready. Right now, because I'm leaving in 2 minutes. I'm going to put that countdown on. Chardall. Come on. All right. You got 30 seconds. Who's coming in? Here we go. Come on in. We're back. I'm back. Hey, check out this background.
Yeah, I remember that one. It was classic.
Yeah, that was a good one. What do we got?
Maybe got a guy in the green room.
Bubbles Dark. Scott's. Oh, we didn't feed our dogs. Didn't feed the dogs tonight. Why don't you go? Yeah, I got to leave here shortly. Hey, look at this. We got somebody in the green room. You got yourself a co-host. Look at this as we invite in with his Giants hat, Los D. Oh, I'm echoing. Invite in. Can you hear me, guys, still?
Yeah, I hear you.
When the Giants come to town, it's bye-bye, baby.
All right. Well, welcome, Los. How do you say it? Is it Los D?
When the Giants come to town, it's bye-bye, baby.
Hit the wrong thing there. Hit the wrong.
We're getting a little reverb.
I got an echo. It's me. Or is it you, Los D?
Yeah, I got an echo.
We're getting a little reverb.
I got an echo. It's me. Let me see. Or is it you, Low Steve?
Yeah, I got an echo.
Go ahead. Say, is it?
It's like on delay.
Yeah, there's a delay.
Let me see. I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah, I got an echo.
I wonder what happened there.
It's like on delay.
Yeah.
Let me see if I get out what happens. I'm not sure what's going on. I wonder what happened there.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm not sure if there's still if there's still a delay, then we'll know if it's yours or not.
Can you hear me okay though?
Yeah, I hear you just fine. I'm not sure if there's still a delay. Yeah, I'm still
all right.
connected.
I'm going to step out. Eric, you
Okay.
and Mosty, you guys carry on and close when you want. All right.
All right, no problem.
All right. You guys have a good one. I'll be checking you out later.
All right,
Bye.
and take it
Later,
easy.
Dan.
Thanks. All right. Thanks, Mosty.
Hey, how's it going, Lost? I think I seen you on you were on Larry's show a couple of times, talking minors, right?
Are you still hearing background noise? I'm still hearing it.
Yeah, I am. Do you have headphones by chance?
I'm still hearing it.
Yeah, I am.
You want me to go out and come back in?
Yeah, see if you can get if you got headphones, that'd probably work a lot better. All right, now it's just me. How about that? Yeah, Dan's show's gonna get canceled. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think it was Lost that was having a reverb. I think it just needs to get some earphones, and we should be able to get it going. Yeah, I think I seen him a couple of times on Larry's show. They were talking 49ers, if I remember. Let's see what we got here. Barium Music Lens talking about Yaz makes $6 million. Giants don't normally dump that much money. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, Giants. I mean, I was surprised they actually dumped La Stella. I think they still owed him. Was $11 million? Was it $11 million when they dumped La Stella? So I was surprised they actually did that. I didn't think they would because he wasn't really contributing anything. That's great. I love it. Hijack the show, but I am not far on. You know, it's funny how you say that. 2021, that was a fluke year, and I'll continue to say that. They had their veterans have career years right at the end of their season or right at the end of their careers, and, you know, that's what carried the team. I don't think it was the Farhan moves. Yeah, I think he had a couple here there with Wade, and Yaz had a good year. But what else has he done as far as, except for this last year here in year 5 when he's getting ready to get out of here? You know, I don't know. I don't want to think that I'm some kind of conspiracy theorist, but it's interesting how all these guys are getting promoted awfully quick. I didn't see this much promotion. I guess a little bit maybe with Luciano last year and Von Brown. Matos, not so much. Bailey, I think, if I'm not mistaken, was Bailey hurt last year? I can't remember. You might someone in the chat might know that. Robert, it's Eric with a C, not with a K. Let's see what we got. So as far as being fired, I mean, I guess we're gonna have to see how it works. I wasn't happy with the way the offseason went. It looked pretty ugly as far as how all the non-deals happened. And then the way that the farm was producing, because the farm was actually being ranked lower than what it was. And I think this year it's going to take a jump just because guys are starting to perform a lot better. So I don't know. I'm kind of wavering. We'll see what happens there, MF, and the rest of the season. I'm tired of the Stewie Fairchilds and the Padlows and the Papirskis. Those type of moves, it didn't do nothing. They were non-moves, really. And those were probably the most frustrating types of moves seen as a fan. You don't want to see those kind of moves. I'd rather have seen the younger guys get promoted rather than seeing, you know, guys like that. I mean, I'm not saying that, you know, I'm not personally attacking them. I'm just talking as far as their ability on the field. You know, I asked Dan about that. He said he was going to try to get him on. Maybe I think he was saying closer to closer to the trade deadline. We'll see. All right, Los D is back in the green. Well, let's see how we sound here. All right. Hey, what's up, Los?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Good. Oh yeah, much better.
Better.
Yeah, see, because I can hear you. I hear you in real time now, and there's no delay.
Technical difficulties solved.
That happens.
Yeah.
I mean, Dan had some issues with his mic in the last stream, and yeah, that was almost part of the stream was just Dan's mic, but.
Yeah, I think you said you saw me before. I've been on with Kruger a couple times.
Talking Niners.
Yeah, I go on with Ryan Hensley a few times.
Nice.
So, yeah, I don't have my own channel, but I go on and just make.
Cool. Nothing wrong with that, right?
I make contributions because some of these guys that have their own channels are. Yeah, it's tough because you throw yourself out there and you get a lot of backlash and people can't discuss things anymore without big debates and getting all personal. So
right.
I'll just stay on a part-time basis and just contribute and be all good. So
and it's fun. I enjoy this type of medium with the YouTube because you can. It seems like it's more personal than like on the radio. Because I used to call into KMBR all the time to Marty all the time, and once he left and was just I'd call into Bill every so often, but it's kind of not the same. But he still has.
And Eric, no 7-second delay, so we can swear if we want to here and there.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, exactly. When you really want to get passionate, you ain't gonna get dinged or anything like that.
Yeah, so it's been a lot of talk about Niner football. Off season is like always number one priority, and Warrior basketball is number two, and Giants coming up, a distant third, but they're playing good ball now. So
and what do you think about this run that they're having?
They're young guys. Finally, we've been calling for it. A lot of us have been calling for just throw them in there and see what happens. And,
exactly.
The organization has not been willing to do that for a long time. They want to hold on to their veterans, despite them regressing. And that's sometimes it's like, what are you doing? Are you trying to win or are you trying to please the fan base? Because let's be honest, the Bay Area fan base is very passionate. They love their players. They stay with them sometimes a little bit too longer, and then they're effective, and that's a balance. So, but they got to understand when they have draft picks and they have homegrown talent, like the Robbie Thompsons, like the Will Clarks, like the Matt Williams, the fan base loves those guys. So bring the young guys up.
Exactly,
and that's what's happening with Casey Schmidt and Matos, hopefully, and Harrison coming up soon. So, the fans want to see that. They all love the Wilmer Flores and some of these other guys, Yastrzemski. They did their little thing, but they're not the future.
No,
and Giants fans want to see the future.
And that was the issue I was just talking about right before you came on. As a fan, you want to see Padlow or Papierski or Stewie Fairchild or Connor Joe, or those weren't key pieces for the organization. It was just they're just Band-Aid fixes, and it seemed like it's like, come on, can't we do better than that? And so it's that, like you said, seeing these young guys come up and produce, and it's really exciting to watch because you see all these other teams like the Royals and the Texas Rangers and Pittsburgh Pirates. They got all these young guys, and they're playing some exciting ball, and they're staying in it. So
yeah, it'd be nice to have Kevin Gosman in the rotation though right now, right? 5 years, $100 million doesn't look too bad, but
I know, and
that's one of the things. I think Farhan is not a guy that's going to sign, long-term contracts. Maybe, Webb was an exception, and that's good that he signed him young. I think there was a fear with any starting pitcher approaching or near 30, because the track record just says don't give them 5, 6, 7, 8 years. You're just going to get burned on that contract more times than not. So. But Gosman was pretty dominant for a few years here.
And I think the reason why Farhan did it, because you bought out like 2 years of his arbitration. So it's not like it's a 3-year free agent deal instead of a 5-year. So maybe that's one of the reasons why Farhan went that way. But yeah, and that's one of the things that I think Farhan's lacking, and he hasn't been able to close the deal on a significant free agent to make the team better. I mean, could you imagine? If they had guys like Schmidt with Judge in the outfield or Matos out there with him, and God, that would have been really exciting. I mean, we can't.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not unhappy that Correa didn't come.
Oh yeah.
barely hitting the Mendoza line. We would have gave him $315 million. I mean, that would have been a big reach.
Yeah.
But Judge,
I don't think you could have gone wrong with Judge.
You couldn't have gone wrong with him. But my whole thing with him was, I wanted him like everybody else, but like, who was going to hit behind him?
Exactly.
Baseball is like, if you have a superstar player and you have nobody hitting behind him, he's going to have 250 walks. Mm-hmm. So you giving a guy $40 million a year to see, he's not, I mean, as good as Judge is, he's not Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds will see 1 or 2 good pitches and 4 at bats and have 1 or 2 homers. Mm-hmm. Judge is really good, but you have to have somebody good hitting behind him. Yeah, you have to have protection. If you don't, he's not going to see fat pitches. He won't. Who was going to hit behind him? J.D. Davis?
Now, here's a point, and I've heard some people talk about this, is if Judge signed here, would he have brought along other free agents who would have wanted to play as well? See, so there's that factor as well. Because the Giants, they have the money to do it. They absolutely have the money.
They do.
That would have been really cool. But, seeing these young guys play, man, we'll see. I still think Matos is going to get called up before Harrison. If take out injuries, make all things equal, I think Matos will come up before Harrison just because what he's doing. His track record right now in AA and AAA, it's been pretty remarkable. And I would just love to see him in there.
And I think the ballpark will play to his skills.
Yes.
He's a line drive hitter, so he can go to right center, left center. He's got decent power, but he doesn't necessarily need it in that ballpark. So I always thought the Giants won the World Series with pitching and good defense.
Yep, and timely.
And while everybody in baseball is going for power and swinging for with everything that you have or striking out, I would have liked to see the Giants, since stolen bases are kind of up this year, to kind of lean a little bit more towards speed. Mm-hmm. And kind of go back a little bit to old school baseball, just to not rely on the long ball, because their ballpark just doesn't play to long balls. It's like you don't have Coors Field here; you have a pitcher's park. So they're playing well, though. I think they're sneaky. They're sneaky good right now.
What I'm talking about, because the ballpark, just like you said, the ballpark for Oracle Park will play to your line drive hitters as far as to get your doubles and your triples. And that's what the Giants need. They got plenty of guys that hit the home run. Where the Giants are lacking right now, and they've done it, but they've kind of improved just a little bit in this last week, is the manufactured runs. And I think that's where Matos can really improve that part of the Giants game. And that's what I love about the new rule with the bending of the shift, because you're going to see traditional baseball as it was intended to be played. I want to see movement on the base pads. I want to see awesome throws from the outfield to try to get the runner, or just fun baseball, not just always trying. Don't get me wrong, are the home runs fun to watch? Absolutely, but I want to see some excitement, not just strikeouts, walks, and home runs.
Technically you're right, they did ban the shift, but I'm in fantasy baseball, and a couple times tonight I watched guys hit the ball up the middle. I'm like, oh, cool hit. And it's like the shortstop is a few inches to the left. So technically it's not 3 people on one side, but it is still kind of a shift, because the third baseman was at shortstop and the shortstop was right next to the bag, but he technically wasn't on the right side of the bag. So they're doing it by the book, but still it's a shift. It's just not an extreme shift.
It's not the drastic shift where you're seeing the third baseman out in short right field or something like that, right? And I think that's kind of how baseball's always have been played too. That where people will exaggerate, their left or right hand side of the infield. So, but
let me ask you something, Eric, because and if Dan's watching, I hope he'll either respond or maybe talk about it tomorrow. Do you like the game the way it's played right now, or do you kind of miss the days when guys? There was a lot of guys that could hit 300. There was a lot of guys that could put the bat on the ball. There were a lot of guys that could hit the opposite field.
Do you think that may start coming? Because this is the first year of the new rules. I wonder if you're going to start seeing more of the true hitters start coming out. Because I think what's happening is when you had the 3 true outcomes being the focus of your offense, the guys were being trained to hit a certain way, basically an uppercut and get it over the fence. Now you can rely on people to be able to just, actually swing for a hit rather than swinging for the fences. So I think that may take a little while. But, I think there's going to be a lag time just because of, this being the first year. But yes, I love just watching, base hits, doubles, triples. Those are fun.
Hit and runs.
Hit and runs. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what makes the game exciting. And I think that's where the fans started losing interest. When you're just sitting there watching, someone strike out or hit the ball over the fence, there's no excitement happening. So
when was the last time you saw a suicide squeeze?
Exactly. Right. Exactly.
Little things like that. I mean, the crowd would go nuts on something
Absolutely.
like that.
And it creates excitement. But because of those 3 true outcomes, now you're having to install other, like the pitch clock. I'm not really too concerned about it now, but in the beginning, it was it's a clock in baseball. It's like, come on, man, let's not have a clock in baseball, especially when it gets into the playoff time. I like seeing the pitcher versus the hitter, and I like to see them try to psych each other out at the cerebral part of the baseball game rather than just getting the ball and throwing it. It's just there's a story to be told there. Maybe I'm a traditionalist that way, but I love watching that.
No, that's what makes the game unique. That's what makes the game great.
And that's the game of baseball. And I don't like rules to be changed for the sake of, I hate to say it, but just for fan interest. If you're not interested in the game, then does it really matter, what the rules are?
Yeah, but you know what the thing about it is? I think baseball fans, true baseball fans like me and you, like a lot of the people here, I don't mind being at a game for 3.5 hours.
Right.
Everything else in life is fast, is hurried, is rushed.
Yes.
Why are we going to rush a baseball game? Like, if I go out there, I used to go to doubleheaders back at the day at Candlestick. You talk about a long day, like 2-3+ hour days. But if you love the game, you don't mind sitting there for that and watching that. But I think they're trying to please the not so traditional baseball fans, the ones that are there to take selfies, the ones that are there to, get on social media, the ones that are there to slide down the Coke slide in left field. Everything has to be fast for them because their attention span is so small.
That's the issue. You got to sit in the seats and enjoy. And let's not mention that you got to take out a second mortgage on your house just to go to attend a game. You want to get your money's worth, but also you're watching something unfold and you want to see it just. I brought this up before. Bob Costas had a great line in that documentary with Ken Burns. He talks about baseball doesn't have a clock. It's got it's built in with its own pace. Does it get a little bit monotonous? Yeah, it can. But like you said, when you have a I don't want to say a true baseball fan, but that's kind of what it is they understand what's going on. They understand what's about to happen. And that's and it's awesome because there's times you could literally feel it. You could feel, there's something about to happen here. Just the way it unfolds. And it's just, I love watching that just play out and see what happens and not have some artificial, clock to dictate that. The electronic strike zone, that might be okay. There's not, you just want things to be called right. I don't see that being a big issue. But
so a few years back, me and my good friend Sean went back to the East Coast for the first time to attend a baseball game at Fenway and at Yankee Stadium. And the first game we went to was at Fenway, and we had good seats, a little bit behind the plate. And I was just looking around, and I told him, "Hey, Sean, look around. What do you see?" And he's like, "Everybody's watching the game." Nobody was on their phone. They were like on the edge of their seat watching the game. And at Yankee Stadium was a little bit less than that. But the point I'm trying to make is if you go see a game on the East Coast, especially in those, tradition-rich stadiums, as opposed to the West Coast, it's more of an event if you go to the West Coast. And I'm not putting down Giants fans at all. Giants fans they know the game. They're very passionate. But go to a game on the East Coast and see the difference. People are not talking. until it's in between innings and there's
Right.
a pitching change. They are not on their phone. They're not taking a whole bunch of selfies. They're watching the game intensely, and I loved it.
Yeah, and they're very they're going to be hard on their teams.
Yeah,
I mean, because they demand the best. You know,
they're going to hold them accountable.
I can't fault them for that. You know, when you start getting personal, you know, then now you're taking it a whole different level. But as far as the game is concerned, yeah, I like the intensity. And it's funny how you talk about that. And I love during a game, whether like towards the end of this regular season or in a postseason, you just can hear the hum of the stadium when things are going. And you're just like, wow, now this is something. This is something bigger than even the game itself. I love that part of it. I hope maybe in the playoffs, maybe they'll get rid of the clock, you know, just so they can, you know, not be artificially adjusted so it plays out naturally. But let's see what happens.
Yeah, and Giants fans, similar to Warrior games, it's a different crowd. You know, Candlestick was that was a hardcore blue collar baseball crowd. Than it is right now. So these rules and everything like that, speeding up the game, you know, at the end of the day, it's not a horrible thing, but I don't know if it's a better thing either. So are they going to have the clock for playoff games as well?
I don't know. I think they are, but I hope they adjust it at least, maybe. At least adjust it, you know, because playoffs is a whole different situation. So I guess we'll see what happens. Are you out here in the West Coast or are you somewhere else in the States?
I moved to Arizona 3 years ago.
Oh, okay. So you're up there where Dan is.
I'm down here where Dan is. I met Dan for the first time at spring training. He was working and videoing, but I had a quick chat with him. So, yeah, I moved out of the Bay Area 3 years ago.
Cool. Yeah, I was stationed out there from 94 to 97. That was long. That's before. I mean, it was all from once I got past, when I was on Glendale Ave, once you get past like 51st, it was all fields. And then once you get past the 101, it was desert. And then I got to the base. Now I guess it's all built up out there. So it's a whole different.
Oh, man, they're building up so much down here. Let me tell you, I've been coming to spring training for years and I always loved the vibe down here. Never thought I'd live here, but, you know, things in the Bay Area changed a lot. Don't want to get into those reasons, but it is what it is.
Good.
There he is.
All right. You don't have a men's bike, do you?
Yes, men's bike.
Chardol twin. What is this? What part of Arizona are you in, Los?
I'm over here in Queen Creek, Arizona, but right next to Chandler, Gilbert.
Oh, okay.
On the east side. It's Los, L-O-S.
Los?
L-O-S, Los. Yeah. Lost. That's funny. Sometimes I am lost. Yeah, I'm about 30 miles out of Scottsdale, about 40 minutes out of Phoenix on the east side.
Nice. Real quick, we're kind of getting off subject here, but you ever gone up to Sedona?
Man, let me tell you, that is one of the most spectacular places I've ever been to.
Love it.
Oh, that
Love
is.
it.
Yeah,
we
that
up
is
there all the time.
place.
When we were stationed up there, we'd go there all the time. And then back in the summer of 2021, we went to the Grand Canyon. And I was like, I want to go down to Sedona. I love that place, man.
That's a 2.5 hour drive. It's a nice drive. It's a cooler climate than here. Great place to go hiking. You know, it's got a very spiritual vibe to it when you're up there. Like you're hiking and you can yell out and they got echoes and everything like that. So it is a spectacular place. It is extremely expensive to go there though. Now,
yes, it is.
Like God, like a average Motel 6 type of room is $250, $300 a night.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's a tourist trap, but the area is beautiful. Oh, absolutely love it.
What's Dan trying to do? Is he trying to like invite us? Does he know he's got the camera on? He's like, is he taking us to dinner or something?
I don't know. He's got it labeled as Chardol twin, so I'm not sure what's going on here. Have you caught any Diamondback games?
Oh yeah, when the Giants come to this last series was the first time I have not seen the Giants. One of the reasons I chose this area and not Tucson was I can still enjoy my teams. I'm just the road team now, so the Warriors, Giants, 49ers all come here. And I'm a rebel at heart anyway, so I don't mind being the road, being the visitor
Nice.
instead of
Arizona's
being
got
the
a
home
good
team.
team,
So
though. That's another
yeah,
team
they
that's
do.
young, and they're playing some exciting baseball.
It's
And they got
different
two
watching a
aces.
game. It's different watching a game in a dome. I had to get a little time to used to it, but when it's 106 outside and
Yeah,
you're in,
you're not going to
that's
complain.
a very comfortable place to watch a game, though. It's like watching a game in your living room. But yeah, I miss Oracle, AT&T, Pac Bell. There's nothing like that stadium. Nothing like that.
Yeah, when you get the fan base excited, yeah, that's an awesome place to go catch a game. It really is. I'm talking about Oracle.
Eric, but I do pay $10 to park in a garage right next to the stadium. I don't get that in San Francisco.
Yeah, no. Probably like 4 times that, if not more. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
crazy. I was talking to Senior on here. I was like, hey, maybe you have to catch a Sacramento River Cats game. Go see some of those young guys like Harrison and Matos, and I'm pretty sure Von Brown will probably get called up soon.
I was at a River Cat game last summer. A
nice.
night game, beautiful little stadium and venue. So yeah, go.
Yeah, it is right there, kind of close to Old Sac. I haven't been to a game there yet, but I live in Galt, which is just down the road, so I'll have to go up there and check it out.
That's a good time. You'll like.
I remember when I was a kid, we go to the Stockton Ports games all the time before they moved to their new stadium.
The Ports.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, because I grew up in Tracy myself, so.
Oh, the 209.
It's I guess it's considered Bay Area now. It's always been kind of there, but it was Central Valley, but now it's like a bedroom community for the Bay Area. Hey Dan, what's up? Can you hear us? I don't know if he's got his speaker on or not, or I think he might be just checking out the chat, maybe.
Maybe.
He's wondering, hey, what are these guys doing on my channel?
Did he say he was coming back on, or he's done for the night?
He said he was going to just maybe watch to see what we're doing, but he might come in here and he's popping on all the he's putting up all those chats here.
Oh,
Dan is my candlelight.
It's nice tonight too out here.
Oh,
it's nice.
Nice.
It's
perfect. Here, I'm in Galt, and it's going to be like in the mid 70s, low 80s for the next week. So it's going to be really nice. Take advantage of it while we can.
Yeah, definitely. So, I think if the Giants, getting back on them, if they keep going the trajectory that they're going, they may be buyers at the trade deadline. They may be looking maybe for some. I think they need some starting pitching.
Well, I agree, because when you get into the postseason, you're going for that the dog days of summer. You got to have pitching. And I like what Cobb is saying. I like what Cobb is, and Webb and Desclafani. My issue is we got to avoid those injuries. If you can avoid injuries, we got a chance. But you know how it is with the long season, especially when you start getting to the dog days. You're going to be battling some injuries. But yeah, I agree. It's going to be tough because trade deadline stuff. Sometimes you got to give up some. Depending on who you're going after, you're going to have to give up some pretty price. And I don't want to, Giants are at a point right now. You got to rely on that farm system to supplement or to fill up what's going to be leaving as far as veterans goes. I don't think Crawford's going to be back next year. Yeah, who knows what? Because I think this was his last arbitration year. I could be wrong.
I was surprised they brought him back. I mean, it's a reasonable contract, but I thought he kind of had his run and they would let him go. But hey, he's playing pretty well. So.
Yeah.
But I would like to see more of Johnson and Von Brown, hopefully.
I agree with what Hiroku's saying. Depending on where the team is at the trade deadline, they can't make the same mistake they did last year. If you're out of it, 5 games out, whatever it may be, don't have these, glorious imaginations that you're going to be going on a big run. Take advantage of it, trade. Because what's going to happen if Conforto is batting 300 and has like 25 home runs? Do you think he's going to come back to the Giants next year, or you think he's going to go? Yeah, exactly.
No.
He's leaving.
No, I agree. And you know what? Even if they are in the playoff race, like they have to be realistic. Like if they get in, are they really going to expect to be a champion.
Right.
Like so I kind of agree with Haruko. If you have to, if you're like hovering around 500, and if you got some veterans, some older guys that you know are not going to be back, and they're having good years, get what you can for them.
Yes.
Get some prospects. The only thing I've had a problem with the Giants scouting department though for the last 10 or 15 years. Like, oh my God. I brought this up on Kruger's channel. They haven't had a dominant outfielder drafted since Chili Davis.
Right.
It was the 80s, man. Do you know how many drafts and how many rounds you've had to keep missing and missing and missing?
On an outfielder, exactly.
I mean, think about it. The Giants got their World Series because they hit on Posey. They hit on Lincecum.
Yep.
They hit on Kane. They
Belt.
hit on Bumgarner.
And
so when they hit on those early picks, guess what? You're pretty damn good.
Exactly.
They have missed way too much over the last 10 years. And I don't we always want to blame the GM. You know, whoever the GM is at the time, Bobby Evans, Farhan now, before that, Sabian. But you know what? Maybe it's the scouting department. Maybe our scouts are just, you know, maybe they need to do like Moneyball, Billy Bean, just fired them all. You know, I don't know, but our scouting department has missed on a lot of good talent and drafted some players that, quite frankly, haven't produced. So that's why the Giants have been where they at, trying to get free agents, trying to get people on 1 or 2 year deals, temporary players. We want to see our young guys do well. Exactly.
And Senior just stole my thunder. I was going to say, we had Brian Reynolds, but, you know, we made that trade for McCutchen and we lost him, man. That's another guy that would have been awesome to have in the outfield along with all the other guys. But yeah, you hit on something good. You know, what's going on with the scouting department? Because I hate to bring up the Dodgers, but they know how to scout. I mean, you look at their farm system, they'll trade away all their number ones to pick up awesome free agents. You know, they may not stick around, but guess what? They're still number one in bringing up the guys, and they're bringing up everybody right now with all the injuries they're dealing with. And, you know, they're actually producing because you got them because when you got Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman and Will Smith and all these other guys, you know, you're sprinkling in your future with these good veterans, you know.
And that was the thing. And I was fooled as well, because when Farhan came over, I thought I thought he had a good track record in Oakland. He had a good track record in LA. He was getting talent. So I thought that he was responsible for that. And now that I kind of see it, it's like, well, maybe the A's scouting department and maybe the Dodgers, even more so scouting department, are responsible for those good players. He just got credit for it because he was the GM.
Because he was the GM.
Because since he's been here for 3 years, like, again, I mean, we'll see. Schmidt looks nice. Remains to be seen on Luciano and Braun Brown and Matos and some of these other guys. But yeah, they need to hit on these picks. There's just too many. Yeah, there's too many rounds. It's not like, you know, the NBA. You got 2 rounds. Football, you got 7 rounds. I mean, how many rounds is there in a Major League Baseball draft? 40? Like, damn, like you can't hit more with 40 picks? That's crazy.
And you know, that's crazy. I don't know if you saw some of those episodes with Kruger when he has Ned Coletti on, which is awesome content when Ned comes on. I love listening to that guy talk. And he talks about that. You know, you got to hit on these draft picks, because if you don't, you're putting your organization really at a disadvantage in building the future. So, and like you said, I was the same way with you when they said they hired Farhan. I was like, ooh, you know, I think we're going to be, you know, having some awesome development of some players and everything. And, you know, we don't see it until, you know, year 5 when he's supposed to be the last year of his contract. And it's like, man, I expected a little bit more, but
I mean the Giants technically, they have, I mean, Farhan is technically the president of baseball operations.
Right.
Technically, they have a GM. He has, I forget his name. That shows, huh?
Pete Petulia.
Okay, Pete Petulia.
Peter. We'll call him Peter.
Peter. And before him, there was another guy that left.
Scott Harris.
Scott Harris, thank you. So that just shows you, like, the GMs, like, you don't, I mean, I'm a pretty good Giants fan, and I don't even know who their GMs are because they're inconsequential. Like, what are they? How are they getting a check? What are they exactly doing?
Yeah,
because it's all Farhan is the face of the franchise as far as getting in front and talking to the media and supposedly making decisions. But, I don't know these GMs, like what their exactly role is as far as the team goes.
Yeah, it is a little bit different with the Giants. Their front office organizational, structure is, like you said, they got a president of baseball operations, and below him a GM. Because like every other club, it's the GM, and then it goes straight to like the owner, But here, it's a little bit different. He's kind of, I don't know. I don't know this for certain, but is he a micromanager? I don't know. I mean,
he could be a yes man. I mean,
Yeah.
who really knows? Eric, would you move off of Joey Bart?
Ooh, the guy.
If somebody came calling for him, do you like
I
what
would
you
listen.
see?
You always got to listen. I mean, no matter. I mean, you may not want to initiate the call, but if someone's calling you about him, I would be listening, because the guy's played. How many games are we in now? 40 something, and he hasn't hit one home run. And me and Dan,
He's supposedly known for his power.
Yeah, and me and Dan were kind of talking about this, and I'm wondering if he took out some of his swing to cut down on the strikeouts, which in effect has had a consequence in his home runs, because he really isn't.
His batting average is definitely, he's definitely putting it in play better. His average is up, but you'd like to have a little bit of a balance.
And his defense.
That goes back to my point. That goes back to my point 30 minutes ago or so. Is like the game has changed. Like, how many guys do you see that choke up on the bat?
You don't see that too often.
No, I mean Barry Bonds is a perfect example.
Yeah.
I mean, dude choked up on the bat, and this is before everything went down and he got bigger. Blah 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 blah. Look at him in Pittsburgh. He was thin. He choked up on the bat, and he was a 25 to 30 homer guy and hit 300, 320.
Exactly.
Guys don't do that no more. I mean,
right.
That's how you have more control of your bat and your swing and putting the ball in play.
And that's what's fun about watching the baseball, because if you watch certain players, if you see them choking up, then okay, these guys know what they're doing. They're changing their approach depending on what's going on in the pitch count, and then, they're going for that base hit, or, if they get lucky, heck, you got the power, you hit it over the fence.
Look at some of the superstars in the game right now. Look at Julio Rodriguez, struggling right now.
Yeah,
I know, because he was my first round pick in fantasy. So, but he's a guy that. I get the MLB package, so I'm watching games. I'm watching my players. I'm watching just the games, and this is what I was talking about. I can't tell you how many times I've seen guy at third base, no outs, one out. Whoever's up can't get him home. Can't. It's a strikeout. It's a strikeout or a pop-up. They can't.
He's not swinging for that hit. He's swinging for the fences.
Just get a fly ball and get the run in. And that's the part of the game that I don't like. It's like they're thinking, oh, man, the more homers I hit, the fatter my next contract's going to be. Who cares if I'm hitting 210 or 220, 230? See, in the older days, when you were a superstar, when you hit 300, when you had 30 homers, and you had 100 RBIs.
Yep.
That was a superstar.
That was a superstar.
And 300 is if you have 300 hitters right now, they're hitting like 6 homers or 8 homers.
Right.
RBIs has been replaced by exit velocity and on base percentage.
Right. Launch angle.
F that. I want RBIs. RBIs is always an important stat, because that's bringing home.
Now we're getting into the analytics versus the old school way. Exactly. But you know what? There should be a happy medium between the two.
Yeah.
And Ned has even talked about that. There's nothing wrong with having analytics, as long as it's part of your overall strategy and not the focus. You got to be able to judge talent by your eye, and then using analytics to assist in other factors. But yeah, when you just use and that's another thing that I got tired of last year with the Giants, the platoon at all costs. I hate platoon at all costs. You go, and honestly, that's hurting players when you platoon. This is getting me on another pet peeve. How are you supposed to be a professional player if you're a right-handed hitter and all you do is hit against lefties? I mean,
you can never get into a rhythm.
Exactly.
Never.
And that's what baseball is. You got to have that constant look at Conforto. So I'll give them credit on that. They keep throwing Conforto out there because you need the reps. If you don't get the reps, you're not going to get that eye and get your swing in tune. So, yeah.
Which kind of makes you think, what's happening in the minor leagues? Baseball is the one sport where you really pay your dues before you get to the major league level.
Right.
So what is happening in the minor leagues? All these left-handed hitters, are they sitting against left-handed pitching?
Right.
Or because they shouldn't. They should be getting more and more and more at bats. If you're drafted by a major league team and you go to single A or double A and you're a righty, you have to see right-handed pitching. If you're a lefty, you have to see left-handed pitching. If to just come in and just be a part-time player, like I can only hit the opposite pitching hand, that's garbage. You're a professional hitter. Like
Exactly.
if you're I grew up with Bonds and Carew and Boggs and Mattingly and my personal favorite non-giant was Tony Gwynn.
Oh
my
yeah.
God.
I mean, come on.
Tony Gwynn, like it did not matter lefty
There's
or righty. Yeah, he spit on sliders from lefties, low and outsides. Like, I'm not swinging at that. But these kids now that come up, you know, Conforto is as hot as he is and as good as he's playing. Watch how he hits against lefties. He has no clue.
Yeah.
Like, what were you doing in the minors? Like,
here's, you know what? I think it goes even further than the minors. This is being taught, I think, in Babe Ruth, in high school, in college, up until getting into the minor. I think that's the whole philosophy because the game had changed to that whole, you know, swinging for the fences. So, and I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever that that's what is being taught in the, like, you know, in your youth development up through high school and further beyond that, you know, you're destroying these guys' ability to be a good baseball player because you're platooning. And I hate that.
So Haruko
says that's what's taught by the organization. Hopefully someone changes it to speed, hitting, and defense. Yep.
Well, that's wrong to be taught in the organization, quite frankly.
Yes.
Like again, how did you win your World Series? 10, 12, and 14. How were you, you know, you were productive and won 107 games in 2021. They hit a lot of homers that year, right?
They did, yeah.
But they also were good at situational baseball. So just because the rest of the league is doing it, it doesn't mean that, like, again, I go back to the ballpark. Like, your ballpark is not conducive to hitting a lot of homers. Maybe more to left field than the right center is just, man. How many home runs did Brandon Belt lose?
Lost, exactly.
Going to right center.
All he had to do is hit line drives.
Yep.
And he would have produced more. I like what Haruku's saying here. Teams don't have a real leadoff. Remember guys like Ricky Henderson. Ricky Henderson, the guy would take a walk, steal second, steal third. The next batter will hit a sacrifice fly, and here in comes Ricky. So you scored a run without even getting one hit. I mean, that's just don't get me wrong. Ricky Henderson, you know, is an outlier because the dude was amazingly fast.
Hey, I'll take Brett Butler right now.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. And then you got Brett Butler, who would lay down the most beautiful bunt, scream up the first base line, and then you got your guy on first that's going to be able to score from first, you know, with a double. And that's
hey, everybody, it's Chardot. What'd you think of the game tonight? Hey.
What's up, Dan?
It's Chardot. They're playing the Twins. I'm his twin. Hey, what's your favorite all-time Giants? Hey, what'd you think of the game tonight?
Dan might have had a few tonight. What'd you have? Long Islands or martinis?
Hey, so yeah, what do you think of the job Gabe Kapler is doing and Farhan?
I'm not a big fan.
I'm not a big up Kyle Harrison soon.
I'm not a big fan of.
Hey, do you think they'll bring up Luis Matos?
Who is this guy? Where's the gong? Gong.
Yeah, the big hook. Where's the hook?
Call to the bullpen.
But this is, I mean, honestly, that Chardot will do that. He will rapid fire you to death.
Our man is out here wearing shades at night, and you know, it's all good.
Chardot's great. I love it. Yeah, I'm just having some fun with you, Chardot. If you're watching this, just having some fun. So, yeah. What's your key takeaways from tonight? Hey, I just Chardot not on until 9:30. Grave says, I actually was just I went down and I had to go out and I was picking up some bikes for sale tonight. So
it's a beautiful night out in AZ tonight, Dan.
Oh, I think we lost him. He's got the frozen screen there.
Frozen. More technical difficulties. There we go.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah, it might be me because I'm on 5G. So I'm heading back home. I'll be home in about 12, 15 minutes. So if you guys are still on, maybe I'll hop back on. But otherwise, you guys are doing great. Thanks for your contributions, Los D. I love you and me are like twin brothers when it comes to baseball. I'm old school. I love going to a 3-hour game. I loved old double hitters, man. Like that was my favorite, you know? It's like, I mean, I get to go to 2 games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, hey, get rid of the pitch clock and let's get back to 3+ hour games so we can get real baseball fans at the stadium.
Exactly. That is the way to go. I mean, I loved the double hitter and they didn't play, you know, a double hitter where they cleared out the stadium. They 25 minutes between games and then they just come walking back out down the right field line from Candlestick. It was great.
I want to be able to turn around in my seat and talk to a guy about situational hitting here instead of politics.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or anything else. I want to focus. I want to look over to my right and watch guys taking book, women taking book. More women actually would be okay with me. But yeah, baseball fans, let's get them in there because those are the ones that don't care how long the game is.
Yeah, and then you get your hot dogs and your chocolate malt with the stick. Yeah. Stick. That was days, man. Yes. Anyway,
I mean, us old schoolers, we went to games at Candlestick when it was freezing, and we still stuck it out for 3.5 hours. So I mean, now you have this beautiful ballpark. Why would you want to drive through in a quickie on that? Like, let's stay here as long as we can.
Exactly. Well, hey, listen, I'm going to get back to driving home. So if you guys are still on, I'll maybe pop back on. But thanks for filling in. You guys are doing great. Appreciate it.
You betcha. No problem, Dan.
No problem. Yeah, we'll be on.
All right. Bye.
All right, see you. All right, that was cool. That's funny though. I mean, Chardall, he'll rapid fire you to death. You're like, oh my god, you can't even answer one question before he's on the next one. That was good. But you know what?
Are you guys on? Eric? Are you guys on every night after games or every day after games?
It depends on what Dan's going on. He tries to get on as much as he can. He wasn't on yesterday, but we're on today. Like I said, it all depends on his schedule and what goes on.
No doubt.
But yeah, I like what the point you make up is you kind of hit on something. You know, when you go to a baseball game, that's where people come together to share the love of the game. Put the politics aside, because it seems like everything has something to do with politics one way or another. And that's one thing I want my baseball to be without. You know, if you're on one side of the aisle, I'm on the other side. Hey, who cares? We're together. We enjoy our team. Or maybe you're a fan of the opposition. Who cares? You're loving the game of baseball. Make it more inclusive in a sense that it brings people together, enjoying an awesome sport. You know, it's America's pastime. You know, and there's a reason why it's called the American pastime, and we need to keep it that way. We don't need to taint it with unnecessary stuff that does nothing for the game. Let's just enjoy the game.
That's what I mean. Our whole society is rush.
Yeah.
It's how fast it's looking at your watch. I got to be here. I got to be there. When you go to a baseball game, it's like
you slow it down.
And this is why I stopped taking my lady. Like sometimes when we go to a night game and it would be a slower, game or it'd go into extra innings and she'd be like, "Oh, we got to leave. We got to go. I got to go to work in the morning." I'm like, I'm staying till the end of this game. Now, if it gets to the 15th, 16th inning,
right?
Okay, I get it. Wednesday night, got to go to work on a Thursday. But it's like, and she never understood that because she never played the game. For those of us that played the game, I think it's even more special, and we want to be there. Like I told you, I met Dan out at spring training. I went out there just for practice, and of course, in March, the weather here is perfect.
Yeah,
so I just went out there and just had my hat and my shades, and I just watched them, take infield, outfield, shag the ball, took some batting practice. You can talk to the players, which is really cool. So I don't know. The baseball should not be sped up. It's a
No.
beautiful game.
You know, it's
you should, you should enjoy it all you can.
the best part of a baseball game when you're attending it in person is when where you're walking through the concourse, and as soon as you start walking down the aisle, and you go from all the everything going on in the concourse and the the concessionaires and all that stuff, but as soon as you walk out, you see that bright green field against the bright blue sky, and it's just there's something about it that just is like, wow, now this is it's almost like you're in a place of reverence. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's almost like a cathedral. And then you start hearing the bat on the ball and the ball hitting them. I'm kind of going off on a little Marty type of thing here, but that's what it's about. I mean, that's what invokes what makes the game so special. And like you said, when you're trying to speed it up and not really take it in and enjoy it, you're doing yourself a disservice about what the game is really about.
And there to get even a little bit deeper, there could be something to it that less kids are playing baseball than before, because again, we're in a more of an instant gratification society. So if you're a 6, 7, 8-year-old and you see basketball and football, it's more of a glamour sport. It's more, if you're really good, you get to the professional level immediately, pretty fast. In baseball, it's not like that. Even
you got to put some work into it.
As good as you may be, you still have to pay your dues. You have to get on buses. You have to make, $25, $50, $70 a day plus food money. And people don't like that. They don't want to put in the work. So think about like maybe the quality of the game is gone down a little because less kids want to play the game. Because of those reasons, because it takes longer to get to the big league. And that's why the fundamentals are so screwed up the way it is, especially on hitting.
Yeah. And it's funny. And Larry actually brought this up on his show, because you got travel ball. Baseball is not really a cheap sport. You got to spend a lot of money to do the travel ball and all that, because that's where people really start getting noticed, for colleges and scouts. So when you're pricing out kids who cannot necessarily afford it, you're missing a huge demographic that could be amazing baseball players. So that may have something to do, with basketball and football. It's not really there's no travel football team. It's high school and college. Same thing with basketball. Man,
the other day I was in a store and it blew me away, like how much bats are, gloves.
Right.
I had my old school Mizuno metal cleats back in the day when I played, and my stirrups and my pants went to all the way up to my knees. Just played old school. Eye black wasn't tape. You actually drew
put
it
on. Yeah, the grease pencil.
You drew it on, and Pops probably paid $29.99 for my Easton bat. But you're right. It's an expensive game to play, so that might have something else to do with why kids are not playing. There's a lot of factors, but I just think, I don't know about where you live, but do you see a lot of little league games? Do you see a lot of
it's funny, and here in Galt, when I'm driving downtown, it kind of, depending which way you're going to go right by where the baseball field's on. You see kids out there playing baseball, which is fun to see.
I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome watching the little guys out there playing. That is a lot of fun. Between that and soccer. The young kids playing soccer is great. My dad used to call it bunch ball, because when you're really little, wherever the ball is, that's it's just a group of kids following the ball. It's pretty funny.
The other night I was watching the movie The Rookie. I hadn't seen it in a while. Dennis Quaid, when he tries out for the Rays and he's throwing 97, 98 at 38 years old. That's a very underrated baseball movie. If you haven't seen that movie in a while, watch it. And make you maybe kind of appreciate and fall back in love.
My go-to movie before every season in spring training, I'm always watching Field of Dreams. I just absolutely love the speeches that James Earl Jones gives. I'm talking how he talks about baseball. Oh, nothing gets better than hearing him talk about that.
Well, I told you I went to Fenway and I went to Yankee Stadium, so I checked those two off the list. Wrigley I've not been to yet. A couple of times I was supposed to go, people kind of flaked and it didn't happen. But my perfect weekend to go to that area is to catch a Cubs game. If the Giants are the opponent, bonus. If not, it's fine. Go to a Notre Dame football game on a Saturday, and 2.5 hour drive away in Iowa is Field of Dreams.
Oh yeah.
All three. That's my ideal 4-day weekend out there.
That would be
I would love
something.
to see Field of Dreams, and hopefully I go with a couple of friends. We can bring our mitts, and we could just play catch.
Exactly right. Yeah, let's go have a catch. Exactly, man. Supposedly, I think that I read somewhere where the Giants are, I think, trying to lobby to be here in the next couple of years to be one of the teams. That would be so awesome. You know, Giants is one of the
storied franchises. Yeah,
yeah,
but
exactly.
those tickets to those games are ridiculous.
I bet. I'll tell you what, though, that damn that White Sox and Yankees game, that was a cool game to watch. That was a lot of excitement. I think didn't the White Sox win it in the bottom of the ninth? I think with a home run. Seeing the home run going to the corn. I mean, come on, it doesn't get better than that. That's so cool.
Have home run derby out there.
Yep.
Into the corn.
Absolutely.
Yep.
What do we got here? Sport Harry Chardall. He got the top five and the top five and the worst five for stadiums.
Top 5 best MLB stadiums. I mean, I've been to a few, but just from everything I've seen and heard, Oracle is one. Pittsburgh baseball field looks amazing by the bridge. Wrigley, Fenway, and I would say Petco. Petco's a nice ass stadium. Petco's a really nice stadium. I hear Safeco up in Seattle's nice too.
Oh, it's funny. When I was a kid, I was young. God, I must have been like around 8 or something. We took a trip back east. We with my sister, my dad, and my mom, and my father had some family, and my father had some family out in St. Louis, and then my mom had family in up in Tyler, Texas, and we were able to catch a game at Old Busch Stadium and the Astrodome. That was pretty damn cool.
I was just thinking that maybe Petco and Busch Stadium might be neck and neck.
Yeah, Busch Stadium.
They say St. Louis fans. They say St. Louis fans are just absolutely, priceless. They're good baseball fans. They're not going to heckle you if you come in on they know the game.
Yeah,
and they'll root for their team, but they're not going to be all belligerent and things like that. So I hear that might be a tie between Petco, but the other four I think are pretty solid.
This is the Old Busch Stadium, but I'm pretty sure it's the same. You'll see the arch, the gateway arch in the back. Man, that was a really cool setting.
So the worst 5 baseball stadiums, what would you say? Number one's got to be, I hate to say it, the Oakland Coliseum.
Oh, yeah, but you know what's funny? When I was a kid, it was an awesome stadium. Remember the Ivy center field?
It was cool. Al Davis messed it up when he put that third deck in there.
Yep.
He messed it up.
You know what? I remember I was in high school. Gosh, must have been in 91. It was the year that I graduated. And we went to a night game, and my friend that I went with him and his father, he's a huge Boston Red Sox fan, and we actually got to see Roger Clemens pitch. But the thing is, the night game we went to was the game before Ricky Henderson broke the record. And during the game, he got on base. He got on first base. Jose Canseco was up to bat. It was funny. It was a couple of times he tried to steal second, but Jose freaking fouled the ball off. But when he started taking off running, the whole stadium lit up with flash bulbs. I mean, it was just like a huge flash bulb just going off because everyone wanted to catch the moment. But he wound up never stealing the base. And we waited 2 hours after the game because my friend wanted a Roger Clemens autograph so bad. And there was only like 5 of us just sitting there. Roger Clemens was an asshole. I'm telling you, man. He was an asshole. So we're sitting there waiting. And the security guard is like, oh, they already left and everything. But we all just stuck around because, like, no, the bus is still here. And lo and behold, the security guard comes out and says, hey, Rogers will sign. So like 5 of us just ran down there. I didn't get an autograph. I was dumb, but my friend
Frickin' Ricky Henderson, man.
Yeah, I know.
Breaks the record, grabs the microphone, and says,
I am the greatest.
I am the greatest of all time. Man, I mean, that was one confident dude. You got to love.
He was. So my friend, we go up to Roger Clemens, and immediately he says, "If I see more than one card from each one of you guys, I'm out of here." You know, just being an asshole. So, but my friend, he got his autographed Roger Clemens card, which was cool.
Nice.
So who do you got here? I don't know if this is his. Is this the best or the worst?
Oh, that's the best right there.
PNC Park. That's another beautiful park.
Yeah, he has 4 of mine. He put Baltimore in there at 5.
Oh, Camden Yards, yeah.
Camden Yards was like the first of the
the new generation.
The new generation baseball field still shows.
New generation, but it was a throwback, right?
Yeah. I hear Texas Stadium is that new stadium is pretty nice too. So I guess it depends what you like. Convenience, comfort. Me, I like the traditional, old school, smaller venues.
Yeah, the more
and that's what probably makes San Francisco and Pittsburgh probably. If you're sitting in the upper deck and you just look out on the bay or you look at the bridges, you know that's cool.
That's a beautiful view. It's like you can't see. You could see the Allegheny out there.
Yeah, definitely. Worst stadiums, Oakland for sure.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay is garbage.
Yeah.
That's junk.
How about old Robbie Stadium for the Marlins?
Yeah. Joe Robbie.
Joe Robbie. Yeah, that was a pretty gnarly place to play baseball. Center field was like, what, 700 feet? It was way out there.
Yeah, that's got to be. And I hate to say it, Arizona's a dome.
You know what's funny?
I mean,
I was stationed there when they were just building that.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's comfortable, and it, it's easy to get in and out of. But for traditionalists and just, baseball's an outdoor venue type of stadium, and you can't have that in Arizona during the summer. You just can't.
And that's going to be
like when the A's moved to Las Vegas, they're building a dome, a retractable dome.
Exactly. I was just going to say that. Yeah, with the A's moving over to Las Vegas, it's going to be the same way. They have to have a dome. You can't be sitting out there in 100-degree heat and trying to enjoy a baseball game. You just can't.
That sucks for Oakland, man. I mean,
yeah, it does.
There's a lot of good A's fans over there, and damn, they lost 3 teams now.
Here comes Roger Clemens.
Hey, Dan.
Hey, maybe you guys calling me an asshole. This is Roger Clemens.
He was hearing.
Yeah, that was me. Yep.
I'm Roger Clemens. Look at.
Hey, his boy is playing. He was playing.
He's
the
playing.
Just faced him in. Who was he playing for?
Philadelphia. Was it Philadelphia?
That's what it was. Philadelphia. Yeah.
Yeah, third base or something, or.
So guys, I got a good old school baseball story for you, and I know Dan will know the name. Eric, let me see does the name Hank Sauer ring a bell to you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. Okay, I know Dan knows who that is.
Yeah.
So his son, because I'm in the mortgage business, and
that's right. This is Carlos, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember meeting you down there the left field line. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
You were working. We had a quick chat. Told you that I moved out there, out here a few years ago. So yeah definitely.
Awesome. You're welcome to come on anytime. I love old baseball knowledge, guys, man. It's
the best.
The best. Yep. I mean, when you were talking, I was driving. I had the phone on, talking about going out to Field of Dreams, and man, I've got a highlight somewhere on videotape. I went to Cooperstown. And, I saw Doubleday Field out there. And so I was like, you know what? Nobody was around. It's locked. You couldn't get on. I hopped the chain link fence, hopped over, went up to the plate, imaginary, hit one out, and I jogged around the bases. And I was just like,
nice.
I was in my probably early 40s. It was about 20 years ago. And,
yeah, I was telling Eric that the trip I went out to with my buddy Sean, we went to Fenway, Yankee Stadium, and we did rent a car and we drove to Cooperstown. So
That's
Yeah.
a terrible weekend. That's if you're a baseball fan, and you know what? I talked to a few Giants fans that refuse to go there because Bonds is not in it.
Oh, come on.
And I get that. I understand that. But if you are truly a baseball fan, you need to go.
Don't blame the Hall. It's the writers. It's not the Hall.
Right.
But
real quick, that Hank Sauer story. So
yeah.
Hank Sauer Sr. Was MVP of the San Francisco Giants. So his son is a lender like me, and he tells me stories about his dad. So the story goes that his dad played for the Cardinals at one time, and his dad liked to have fun and go out to the bars, a la Mickey Mantle, Billy Barton, all that other stuff. He was getting Stan Musial in trouble a lot. So the Cardinals traded him to the Giants because he was a troublemaker. And those are just behind the scenes stories that you just don't know, that they were out having a good time. Musial had his worst season of his career because he had good old Hank having him out at the bars until 1 or 2 in the morning. So thankfully got traded to the Giants and he won an MVP with us. So worked out.
Yeah, it worked out.
I love stories like that.
You know, Stan stayed Stan the man, and you know, Sauer got the MVP.
He was Stan the kid for that 1 year, and then he became Stan the man the following year, for sure.
Yeah.
Talking about Cooperstown, that's one of my bucket list. One thing I would love to do, go back out east. I want to check out a bunch of the Civil War battlefields, and I would love to hit Cooperstown.
Yeah. I've been to Gettysburg and stuff. You said the wars, Civil War stuff. That is really cool.
Because there's so many all in that area, Antietam and Gettysburg.
Oh, when I lived in Connecticut, it was great to go, you know, to Gettysburg and go to. And I had a friend that actually was in the reenactment stuff.
Oh yeah,
and I'd go watch them, you know, and get those. What do they call those things that they used to bayonets? Yeah, bayonets. Just like, you know, it's like pretty wild stuff. But yeah, there's nothing like the old school baseball. I mean, they have sadly, you know, this speeding up the game, everything they've done to it, all for you know, the casual fan. I guess maybe the old time fans is dying off. I guess I don't know. I guess, you know, we're just not many of us, but everybody wants a, you know, I don't like a 2 hour and 10-minute game. I mean, it's like, I feel cheated. I was fortunate enough. I went to a game where the Giants, it was early 80s, I believe. Atlee Hammaker pitched a complete game in, have to look it up, trying to remember. It was something like
a complete game. What's that?
Yeah. It was like 80-something pitches, and it was quick, but I think it was a double header. And so it was like, oh, okay, so we still got time. But if I went all the way from, you know, when I lived in Concord as a kid, drove over to Candlestick, took the time, you know, to get through there, park, see if I can get into the stadium without getting blown over in the parking lot, get inside, and then the game's over in 2 hours. I had to turn around and, you know, I mean, it took 20 minutes just to get to your car or more, you know, just to get out. And gosh, you know, it wouldn't have been worth it to me to go. I loved a long game, you know. Extra innings, hey, they used to call that free baseball, you know.
Yeah.
That's right.
When you're watching. Yeah.
Hey, speaking of, if you guys ever, because you guys like old school baseball, you guys got to pick up this book. I'm telling you, In the Glory of Their Times. If you haven't read it, I'm telling you, get it. You will not be disappointed. This author, he went and interviewed all these players from like at the turn of the century, right in the 1900s. Some of them even just before that. And it's a great read if you love classic old time baseball. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, Dan. While you were gone for a little bit, me and Eric were kind of chopping it up about not just the Giants organization, but baseball in general. About What are they teaching in the minor leagues? What are young players being taught about, swinging the bat and protecting with 2 strikes? Why are they trying to hit home runs and striking out so much? Why isn't the ball put in play, like not made more of an emphasis? Like, what is exactly going on there?
I think the analytics of it's kind of like the 3-point shot versus the 2-point shot. Hey, if you shoot 40% from 3, it's as good as shooting 50% from what is it? If you make 4 of 10, you got 12 points. It's as good as shooting 6 from 12 from 2. I think they figured out, guys, if they are waiting for their specific pitch instead of making an out, maybe they hit a home run because they're swinging at only pitches within their zone. And I don't like it. I wasn't taught baseball that way. I was taught go with the pitch. If it's outside and I was a right hand, just hit it to right, punch it to right field. If you go back tonight, I'll have to look. I'm going to see if I can pull it up. I noticed Blake Sable when he hit the double tonight. He looked right where he wanted to hit it. It looked like right before the pitch. And I was like, did he just do what I thought he did?
He can hit.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know.
You called him in spring training that he had a nice swing.
I did. I liked his swing. I liked his athleticism. I wasn't so sure about his catching, but I said he's worth taking a shot at because as a Rule 5 guy. Just keep him up for a year, and then now you have full control of him next year. If you want to need to send him down, you can, for more seasoning or whatever, and bring him back up. But right now you got to keep him. And I just think at 25, it's a little old for kind of a rookie. I like seeing guys like, 22 to make it. I think ideally if you can hit the major leagues at 22 and have some success, by the time you're 24, 25, you could be approaching superstardom if you're a really, really top guy, I mean, that's your guys. I mean, you look at Will Clark, he spent half a year in the minors, whatever he spent. Did he spend a full year or just a half? He came up, he was drafted in 85 and he was up in 86. I know that.
He went from single A or double A directly to the big leagues.
Yeah. And he never looked back.
And Robbie Thompson, same thing.
Yeah.
Right from double A. Didn't he just skip triple A?
Right.
And
some of these guys can do that. I mean, look at the kids. What's the kid Rodriguez in Julio Rodriguez for Seattle, the center fielder?
Los just talked about him.
Who did? Oh, you did? Okay.
I brought him up because, I have a fantasy team. He was my first round pick, and to watch him hit is hard.
Oh.
He misses so, and this is a lot of superstars. Juan Soto is off to a real slow start too.
Yeah.
Some of the better hitters in the game, when you're watching them, they're just missing. They're missing mistakes. Like, to me, watching the game as long as I have, the great hitters, when you made a mistake, they barreled it up and they hit it hard. I'm seeing these guys miss fastballs down the middle, and they're not 98, 99. They're 93, 94. They're missing them right down the middle.
Right.
And like you were saying, Dan, I mean, they're looking for the perfect pitch to hit in their little, that zone they put on TV, like it's got 9 squares.
Yeah.
It's like, here's blue, here's blue. It's like every hitter in baseball has got like 7 red areas that are cold and like 2 areas that are red, hot. Your hot zone. Like I was telling Eric, I missed the Tony Gwynns when 7 of those 9 boxes were hot. They were red. Like you were on top of those. So it's just the game is different.
Yeah, something's happened with the art of hitting because I've never seen more guys take called strike threes right down the middle because they're fooled off the pitch. What happened to protecting the plate with 2 strikes? If it's
choking up, Los talked about that. Choking up on the bat. Yep.
Choke up, and if it's not the pitch, if you're fooled on it, just foul it off.
Yeah,
wait for another chance.
Yep.
It's like,
hey, I'm not going to hit a home run, guys. I'm only going to hit like a single to right field and drive in this run, and that's not going to help me in my next salary contract.
Yeah.
I don't know, but like you do more to win the game. Like again, choke up, 2 strikes. They're
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
they're gonna pitch you outside, probably go the other way. And,
Yeah, I got a
see
lot
what
of
happens.
Giants hats. I don't know if I have that hat. I got to go look in my collection. I'll be right back. I like that hat.
Patrick
This one?
Sheehan, great.
Yeah, I
point.
do. I like that hat. I don't know. I think I might have something similar. I'm gonna go check it out. I got to go look at my. Okay, tell it goodbye. I know I don't have that, but I might have the front. Let me go look. I'll be right back.
The beige and the black. The beige and the black.
The Patrick Sheehan there with Arias, I think that's how you say his name, or Arias.
I just traded for him. He's about the best hitter.
He's
that's out
awesome.
there.
He is awesome.
He went 0 for 4 tonight, but in
You know, that
Colorado,
happens.
which kind of pissed me off. But hey, it happens. Even the
I
best.
bet he didn't strike out though.
Yeah, he puts the ball in play.
He does.
He's a throwback.
Absolutely.
And you, as usual, the best hitters as far as putting the ball, the bat to the ball, usually are left-handed. I don't know what it is, but there's some great right-handed hitters. Don't get me wrong, but like the best average hitters over the years have been lefties for the most part. DiMaggio was a hell of a hitter for a right-hander.
He was.
Man, he put the ball in play.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah, but like I was saying, I miss 300, 30, and 100. Our RBIs are lost art nowadays.
It is just driving in that run, or even just advancing a runner.
Did you find it?
Nah, I don't have one just like that. I thought it's this one. It's a little. I knew I had something white, but it's this is spring training one, and then this is my other white one here.
Make sure if we go to a Diamondback Giant game together that we both coordinate and wear the lighter color hats.
Yeah, I have to. Where to go?
It'll be hot outside once we get outside the stadium.
I know. Yeah, we'll have to go. When are they coming back? And is it July or August? Giants.
Do they play 9 games?
No,
here,
just 6 or 7. I guess they got a 3-game more series. Hey, Joe Shasky, just like my tweet on the 24 Giants reached 24-24. So maybe Joe will come on into the show. That would be cool.
Joe might be asleep. He's got an early shift.
Yeah, he just liked it just now.
Cool.
He should just come. I should DM him.
Yeah, bring Shasky on. I love talking native San Francisco stuff with him and Bonte.
Yeah, let's see if I can. Hold on one second. Let me look for him here.
Dan, what are some of the restaurants you miss of the Bay Area the most?
Oh wow,
there's a lot of them, I know.
Yeah,
and two or three come to mind.
The one that.
Did you like Joe's of Westlake?
I don't think I ever went to Joe's of Westlake.
Good, great Italian food.
Yeah, I stayed a lot in the East Bay.
You were at McCovey's out in Walnut Creek a lot.
Yeah, McCovey's. Yeah.
Opa, Greek food out on Walnut Creek. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's been many, many years. I mean, I've been gone full time since 81. Yeah, 81. But
You've been in AZ since 81?
I've been in I was in Southern California from 80, went to school, and then 83 to 97. I was in Southern California. And then I spent 7 years in Connecticut, and then I came out here in 04 to Arizona. But briefly was back in the Bay Area for about 6 months in 2017.
I go back every few months for business, and then I mix in seeing friends and family. But when I land, I always make sure I get some kind of Asian food.
Yeah,
Korean barbecue, Thai, Vietnamese. The food here in AZ is pretty good, but Asian food, you got to look for it.
Hey, Loach, you want to talk about hitter? Someone mentioned who was it? Someone mentioned Freddie Sanchez. Oh, Patrick Sheehan. Hiroku just stole my thunder. Scootero in 2012. Man, talk about it.
Scootero was so money in 12.
Oh, he was.
Talk about a guy Talk about a guy that put the ball in play
And his
and didn't strike out.
swing was beautiful. Man.
Yeah, that's a good call, Haruko. Him and Freddie Sanchez, two nice. That's what we're talking about. Those are two perfect number 2 hitters.
Yep.
Like they didn't need to hit a lot of have a lot of power, but they put the ball in play. They hit behind the runners, hit and runs when they were popular. Two great number 2 hitters for the Giants.
Man, and he won the game 4. He's the one that knocked in Ryan Terrio, and then the rest is history.
He was on fire. That postseason, he barreled up everything.
Yep. Even after getting freaking barreled over by what's his name? That big left fielder. What's his name?
Left fielder for who?
The St. Louis Cardinals. Remember, he wiped him out at second base, sliding hard. God.
Oh,
he went to
yeah.
God, I can't remember his name. Come on,
I know
chat.
you're talking about. Damn.
It's on the tip of my tongue, and I can't remember his damn name. But yeah, he like hurt his hip or his back in that series. Holiday, there it is. Eddie, thank you.
Oh, Matt Holliday?
Yeah. He ran him over. He was like persona non grata in San Francisco there for a while.
Man,
so I got an interesting. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So I have an interesting question for both of you, and I'd like everybody in the chat maybe to chime in as well, because I bring this up when I'm around friends, and that is when it comes to salaries and it comes to starting pitching versus an everyday player. To me, if I have, let's say, $40 million in my budget, and I have the choice of paying a superstar everyday player or a superstar starting pitcher. See, to me, as dominant as starting pitching is, you pitch every 5 days.
Right.
Like to me, it kind of doesn't make sense to
Right.
drop $40 million for Max Scherzer and $45 million. I would rather pay a superstar player that is going to make a difference with his glove, with his bat, with his arm, with his legs. You know, it'd be like the Giants way back in the day. Well, you can sign Willie Mays or you can sign Juan Marichal. And Juan Marichal was dominant, but he sat for 4 days. Well, back then, 3 days. It was a 4-man rotation.
Right.
But I don't understand the economics of baseball from the standpoint of how are GMs and owners paying starting pitchers the same amount of max money as everyday players. I mean, baseball is the only profession in the world that a part-time player can make the same as a full-time player.
It makes me wonder if it has to do, you're just paying them up front for what's going to happen in a postseason. Because in a postseason, the aces are going to pitch a lot more. You go basically to a 3-man rotation once you get to the playoffs, and that's where you're earning your money. And that's just a guess.
That's what it is. You got to get there to earn that.
Right.
You got to get there to earn that. But I don't know, Dan, you're old school. What do you think? I mean, do you think starting pitchers should make the same as dominant starting everyday players?
No.
If you were a GM or an owner?
No, I'm not. I guess to get those guys, you got to pay, but I wouldn't want to pay. I mean, look at Rodon. I mean, the guy hasn't even pitched this year.
Yep.
And they threw out $180 million to the guy. And, he's had a lot of injury history. So I think the Giants dodged a bullet there, not signing him. But I wouldn't pay that much for a, everyday starter, especially someone who's over 30. I just told Eric, I'm glad we didn't sign Correa. Yeah. I mean, it worked out well. I mean, I was like 13 years, whatever, you got to do it. But then when it fell through, I was like, just go for 6 years,
They could have came back with But I think that ship sailed the way that he was treated. Hey,
I got a question for you guys, because last night, we didn't do a show last night, but there was a point in the game. It was the top of the 8th. Excuse me. Giants were up 4-0. Blake Sable had just doubled. He was playing left field, and he doubled, and Kapler brought in Bryce Johnson to pinch run. And I was like, you're up 4-0. the only way you can lose this game most likely is if something happens to Bailey in the bottom of the 8th, and now you don't have a catcher.
Oh, good point.
And I'm thinking, I understand he wanted to get Johnson in for better defense in center field and move Yaz over to right or whatever I don't remember how it ended up. I'll have to look up the box score. But it just struck me. Here's the box score. Let me see where. Okay, Sable came out. Left field, Bryce Johnson. Okay, Bryce Johnson went to left field, and they kept Yastrzemski in center and Conforto and right. I guess they didn't want to move Conforto to move everybody. They would have to move Conforto to left, Yaz to right, and so they just. But maybe save that for the 9th inning. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just struck me because I thought Sable's not slow. So I understand, okay, your thinking is give me the best defense the last 2 innings. But what happens if you lose that catcher and, Bailey goes down? Now you've got some emergency catcher coming in. And is that what you really want? I don't know.
Yeah, Pablo Sandoval isn't on the roster to emergency catch no more.
Yeah, I don't know who they're I think it's Estrada. Is it Estrada or is it? But I think where the Giants potentially could do well is having Bart back up and Bailey and using Sable as that kind of emergency catcher or the situation where you want to pinch hit late in the game, but you can't because you don't have a good you don't have a third catcher. So you got to, how many times have we seen where, it was Austin Wins last year coming up in a key situation. It's like, oh, well, we don't have a backup catcher. He's already blown that one. And so I just think Sable adds versatility, playing him as a left fielder, potentially as a DH. He can also play first base when I talk to him. He has a first baseman's glove. He's used to, you can see that any guy that can catch should be able to play some first base and scoop balls out and get in front of it, knows how to get in front of a ball, whatever. So I like having Sable on the team, but I'm not sure if he's, ideal guy. He's not like he's cost you that many games behind the plate, but I'd like to see him get more work in, over the course of next spring.
He could be an old school Joel Youngblood, pinch hitter extraordinaire off the bench. Because like me and Eric were talking about, not a lot of the players have the capability of putting the ball in play with a man at third and 1 or no outs. Mm-hmm. Sable is the guy that I like up at the plate at that moment.
Look at the Giants today in the game. They had the bases loaded, no outs, and they had to rely on walks to get the first 2 runs.
Right, because they were,
Dan, I asked Eric, when was the last time you saw a suicide squeeze?
Oh gosh, I've got to go back to Roger Craig days. Seems like.
Do they teach bunting anymore in baseball?
Yeah, I don't know.
Teach it, but I don't know.
When I played, our coach, when we took batting practice, we had to lay down 2 successful.
Oh yeah, I'll show you. Let me show you. I'm going to grab something here, and I'm going to demonstrate how I was taught how to bunt, because I played for a Hall of Fame Little League manager that made it into the Hall of Fame in Williamsport, and he didn't even have a son, So the guys that usually coach Little League, it's the dad, and then the kid's there for 2 years, and then he leaves. This guy taught. He was the coach of the same team for like 25 years, and he loved what he did. He Tom Candiotti was his, big guy. I was a year behind. I was actually 5 years behind Candiotti. So when I came up as a 9-year-old for the major leagues, Candiotti was graduating to Babe Ruth at 13. So, but I'm gonna show you what this guy. I learned so much fundamental baseball as a 9-year-old. It's ingrained in me. So I'll be right back.
All right. He's gonna teach us how to bunt. I'm gonna get
Yeah, I think
flashbacks.
so. It looks like we're gonna get a lesson in some bunting here.
You gotta square around and have the top hand up at the handle a little bit. Yep, I know.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
did.
but I mean, just like the reason I say a suicide squeeze is because, hey, if so many guys can't get that runner in from third, and sometimes that's the game.
Yeah.
Like it's 1-1 in the top of the ninth. You're on the road, and you need that runner in from third, and you got a guy up at the plate that just strikes out a lot. I mean, that's the element of surprise. And if they're playing that stupid shift that we're talking about, not extreme, but if the third baseman is over there by a shortstop, if you get it down the third base line, that's all you have to do. Not only do you get the run in, but you get a hit. Like win the damn game. Stop trying to be a hero. And and I think that has a lot to do with what we're talking about in sports. In basketball, everybody wants to shoot a 3-pointer to win a game. Hey, a layup sometimes will win you the game if you're down 1. Yep. And in baseball, sometimes you just do the little things to win a game. And I think that's getting to be a little bit of a lost art now.
It's like you said, but that's not glamorous. And that's the thing is it about the glamour or is it about winning the damn ball game? That's the whole key of it.
It should always be about just winning the game.
Absolutely.
If the guy is a strikeout monster, then lay a bunt down and get a squeeze.
So I don't know how to get myself in the center of this room here. How do I do that? Hold on.
Yeah, hold on.
What happened? How do we do this? +1 shift, maybe plus. All right, let's try this. I don't know how to do this. Larry knows how to do all this stuff.
Yeah, I don't know how you drag. There's that. Hold on.
You go ahead. You're the tech guy. It's time for fundamental baseball.
Here we go.
All right, here we go. Fundamental baseball. And I don't even have a baseball bat here, so I'm going to have to use this broom. Maybe the Giants will bring out the brooms tomorrow. All right. We're going to this is they used a belt when I was a kid. Squeeze this belt on you. All right, so here's the bat. You can't swing. So as I'm up to bat, I've got my arm and I'm in here, ready, and I'm gonna bunt without giving it away. Most people are taught to turn around and bunt like this, right? And they just give it away before they square up with their feet. You can't quite. Let me see if I can't get my feet in here. They square up, slide the fingers down, and sacrifice bunt. But by that time, the first baseman's charging, third baseman's charging. Yep. Right. You may not even get down a sacrifice bunt. We used to bunt for singles, base hits. So I'm up here, and all of a sudden, let me see if I can take my camera off here. Let's see. Let me see here. Let me move it down here. Hold on. All right. Okay. I'm gonna rotate my hips like this. See that? Okay.
Yep.
So put this back up here. So can't show the whole thing. So I'm gonna rotate my hips, and my back knee is just gonna come forward, and I'm going to lay it down. And as I'm laying it down, my back foot is ready to take off. Yeah. I'm blasting out of the batter's box. I've just laid one down. It's a complete surprise. I just boom, and I'm gone. And I was taught how to bunt that way, and I got a lot of base hits because I was pretty fast. So I just bunted it right past the pitcher towards second base. And the second base guy was, deep. And if you just hit it just right, it was in no man's land, and 60-foot bases. I mean, not 60-foot, 45-foot bases in Little League, you're down quick, right? So, and then what we had to do is sliding practice. I mean, this guy taught us so much fundamentals.
Yep.
We wore double jeans. He said, wear 2 pairs of jeans. And he taught us the pop-up slide. Remember Trey Turner coming in last home plate and just sliding in and just kind of coming up? We did that all the time. Just learned how to slide. And then he taught us the backdoor slide, which is unbelievable at home plate. You literally slide and your feet go toward the backstop. And you reach around and slap touch the top of the plate, the diamond shaped plate. And catchers would, come and look for you, and you slid around them, and your feet are kicked out your feet are like, 90 degrees facing, the press box or the snack bar box, whatever the heck was, whatever, but, yep. And then you just we learned how to do that. I learned that every player on every ball put in play had a place to be. Nobody stood around and watched the play. If you were right field and the ball was hit and the play was to first base, you were running down to back up the first baseman. You saw that Giants pickle the other day that rundown where it went to 5 or 6 different guys. You remember that against the last game Sunday?
Should be no more than 4.
Right. If you watch that play over again, trying to remember, I have to watch it. Somebody got rid of it too soon. They needed to, and you always want to chase the player back to the base that like a guy's on third and he's going home. You don't want the play to be at the plate. You want it to be back toward third, because if anything goes wrong, drop the ball, the guy's safe, scores, but just fundamental baseball. And, when you're taught that way and you read books about how to play baseball, it's just not taught anymore. You could tell it's not taught.
That's wrong. I mean, I played for Sacred Heart in the city, class of 85. I was a couple years behind Bonds and playing Sarah High School. I did play against Greg Jeffries. I was one arrogant Greg son Jeffries. Of a bitch. Let me tell you, he was. He was a
top prospect. I remember collecting baseball cards, and he was like one of the up-and-coming guys that they thought was going to be a superstar.
Oh, he could play for sure. But I played for Steve Franceschi. He's a legendary coach and baseball guy. I think he pitched in the minor leagues. He always had minor league coaches and instructors come to our practices. One would be for bunting, like Dan would talk about, how to turn, how to twist your hips. He would bring in a base running coach, teach us how to, run like the banana around the bases so you can get ahead of steam to the next base, how to take leads, how to read the pitcher. And to Dan's point, I don't know if that's taught in the minor leagues at this point. And that's what I was mentioning earlier is like, get your pitch, swing for the fences. If you don't get it, oh, well, you'll get them next time. No, man, when there's 2 strikes, choke up on the bat, put it in play, and get that run in from third. It drives me crazy how many people are left on base because they don't change their approach.
Who was it stats I was looking at the other day? Oh, here it is. Let me pull it up. Tony Gwynn.
Oh, I just was talking about him. That's my favorite non-Giant player ever.
Oh, love Tony Gwynn.
When I went to go see the Padres play, I took the 29 Sunset bus out there early and for batting practice, and just loved watching Tony Gwynn hit. And then got to meet him because my son went to San Diego State and got to meet him as a
awesome. How many times do you think he struck out in his entire 20-year big league career?
Oh, man.
750.
Got a guess, Eric?
Man. How many at-bats did he have?
He had 9,288 official at bats. He had 10,230 plate appearances, but 9,288.
Oh, well, let me lessen that amount then. I thought he had way more at bats than that.
I bet you.
Maybe 175.
Yeah, exactly. I bet you it's I bet it's
actually
200.
Actually, a little higher, but 434.
Still.
His highest of his career was 40 in 1988, and he hit what was his batting average that year? 1988, only 313, down year.
That one year he was flirting with 400.
Oh, he hit 394 in the strike season. Yeah. Tony Gwynn, another guy. I'm going to look up this guy, see how much he struck out. Let's see if we can.
Wade Boggs.
I'm checking out Rod Carew.
Oh, yeah, he's another one. Yep.
Rod Carew struck out he had 9,315 at-bats, career bats. He struck out a total of, he struck out more, 1,028. But, about 10% roughly, maybe 9%. Or I guess it'd be a little more, maybe 11, 12%. Yeah.
Gwynn was the first guy to kind of use video as a way to really study his swing, study what pitchers were trying to do to him, tendencies. He wrote notes on all pitchers. When you could hit Randy Johnson as a lefty, Randy Johnson was so filthy at 6'10", throwing 97, 98, and then having that sweeping slider. And Tony Gwynn actually could hit him. Nobody hit him as a lefty. Nobody. Nobody hit Greg Maddux anywhere. And Gwynn, I think, hit 350 or 380 against him.
Yeah.
That dude
Peter talks about that kid in Miami. It reminds him of Gwynn.
They talk about Bonds. They talk about Bonds having the best hand-eye coordination, and him. I mean, he had more power for sure than Gwynn, but Gwynn's right there with them with hand-eye coordination without the power.
Hand-eye, you can't miss Ted Williams for hand-eye though. Ooh.
Yeah. Going back even further, no doubt.
Did you ever see the interview when Tony Gwynn was with Ted Williams, and Ted Williams was asking him a question about baseball, and you could see Tony Gwynn. He looked so nervous answering the question, and then when Ted Williams said, "Yeah, you're right," he was kind of like, "Whew." It was pretty funny. You should YouTube that or search YouTube for that clip. It was pretty good. I think it was during. I think it was the interview. It was during that whole time during the All-Star break of when they brought Ted Williams back for that All-Star game in Fenway.
Yep. Will Clark had a hell of a hand-eye coordination. I mean, he struck out a little bit more, but man, what a nice swing. Him and Ken Griffey had the nicest swings.
Oh, yeah.
At that time. Griffey was. Whew.
Somebody says in the chat, do I like Farhan as a baseball operations guy or as a person? I think he's a nice guy. I think he's trying well. I think he means well. I think he wants to put a winning team on. I'm just not sure if I haven't liked his approach to all these guys, the Papirskis, the Fairchilds. Even earlier this year, who was the guy that came up? He got in the A's, Cal Stevenson.
Oh, and then he had a guy even before that, Beatty.
Yeah, he's down. Beatty's down in the minors. I don't have a problem with Beatty being in the minors. He's a good guy to have down there. He's a decent guy if you have to call up for a short period of time. But I'm not. We'll see. If Farhan. If the guys that he drafted, Harrison, Bailey, Schmidt, some of the other guys, Reggie Crawford, some of these guys start coming up and producing, then I think, that's where his success will lie. He's tried to plug and, he's had some success with some free agents. I think he's been fortunate. Guys like Rodon having great years and Kevin Gausman and signings like that kept the Giants, but then he wasn't able to retain some of them though, or trade them for something of value. So we'll see. His ticket to making it long-term has to be the success of the farm club, because if he doesn't produce there, then I'm sorry, it's been not a success story.
That's what I was talking about a little bit earlier with Eric. Is I like a lot of fans, I think, got a little fooled by Farhan because of his success in Oakland and Los Angeles, his track record of bringing players in. But at the end of the day, did he really do that, or was it the scouting department of both of those organizations? Because guess what? Since Farhan has left, the Dodgers just keep drafting well. They keep drafting the right players.
Exactly.
And so it wasn't necessarily him. It was their scouting department. Hey, if the Giants want to really get better, talk to those Dodger scouts and double their salary. It'll be way cheaper than giving Correa $315 million, and start hitting on these draft picks and watch how good you get.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, Dan, they said you must like Farhan because he's hosting your show.
Oh, where's that? Oh, yeah. Hey. They're setting me up. That was a setup question.
Hey, Dan, I got to get out of here. So,
what are my 5 top bridges to drive over?
Are you going to be doing a live tomorrow, Dan?
It'll be an early game. Let me see what my schedule is tomorrow. I got to see. The game comes on like at 10:10, right?
Yeah, probably something like that.
Yeah, I may be doing one about 1 o'clock.
All right, cool. Maybe I'll see you then.
Yeah.
Hey, Rob C., me and Dan don't live in the Bay Area no more, so we don't drive over bridges. We don't pay tolls anymore, and neither one of us miss it.
Yeah.
At least the bridges. Miss the area, but not the bridges.
Yeah. Let me give you obviously my favorite bridge is my favorite bridge, just for the beauty of going over it, is the Golden Gate. But I actually like to enter from the Sausalito side, coming from the East Bay. I'll take some different routes, go over the Richmond San Rafael Bridge that way, and then come over that way. But the Golden Gate
Bridge.
I've been over some. I used to have to drive to work. I spent 1 year in New Orleans, and I lived on the north shore of across the causeway. It was a 24-mile drive. It was and the bridge was just like literally 15 feet off the water. It was, you felt like you were just dry. I mean, some people ended up in the water. Yeah. That was not a fun bridge. Let me think. I've been over some bridges in New York. I tell you, my first trip over a bridge in New York, you know how you New Yorkers are, right? Well, I didn't know. I'm used to guys this was back in, late 90s. I'm used to driving up to the bridge and, paying my toll to the toll booth guy. Well, they didn't have that. They had this big basket, right? And you're just supposed to throw in your coins into the basket. And I'm just standing there like, I don't have any coins. I've got bills. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do? And the guy's like, get my way, hey, come on! Screaming at me, New Yorkers. And I'm just like,
yeah.
So I just left. I was like, oh, crud. I didn't know what to, I was holding up people. But, yeah, you learn quick when you're back there. Carry your coins in your car.
Hey, gentlemen, thanks for having me on, inviting me on. It was good talking shop, and hope to get on again with you guys.
Yeah, you're welcome to come on anytime. If you hang on when we finish up, just hang on in the green room. I'll get your contact, your email, and I can send you links to just join. But I think we're going to end it right here. So Eric and Carlos, thanks for joining. It's great chatting old school baseball tonight. Hopefully the chat is enjoyed our time. Wait a minute, Mario. What's this? Dan is susceptible to the high pitch. Let's see. High pitch. Let's see. Was I susceptible? This is a little too long though. Kind of holding a broom here. Maybe we got a sweep coming tomorrow. The high pitch.
Mario, like the younger sister in League of Their Own. He likes the high ones.
Yeah, high and in was a tough one. Yeah, but I loved a nice. Well, who doesn't love one? Belt high, right over the plate. But
over the plate, right center. That was.
I used to go to right field a lot because I was able to get triples a lot just by, hitting them down the right field line. I used to be able to look. I don't know why ball players don't do this, but I would scan the field, see where they were playing me. And, if guys were way back, I bunt one down the third baseline. If they were playing, gave me a big hole at second base, I just slapped one through. I don't know, but I wasn't trying.
They got a great batting cages in Mesa. I'll meet you there.
Oh, yeah. Have you ever tried the 90-plus ones in there?
Not lately. I got humbled real quick and went right back down to 70.
Yeah. I tried it. I tried getting in there and just, practice, just seeing the ball, get out there, just kind of tap some, bunt some, then turn it up to 90. I'm telling you, guys that throw 100, I don't know how you hit that. Seriously. Because 90, and I did this I'm 60, almost 62, but I did this in my late 20s, early, maybe 30-ish. When I saw 90, I was behind every pitch until it took me, a couple of rotations of those pitches to figure, to get the timing down. But dang, that's coming in there. And it's coming in straight.
Now we know why guys don't suicide squeeze, because who wants to bunt on 99, 100 miles an hour? That's tough. All right, guys.
All right. Hey, Carlos, great. Hang on. Wait, you know what? Hang on in the green room.
Hang on.
We're going to close this out. Everybody, Giants win again. 7 out of 8. Go for 8 out of 9 tomorrow. Go for the big sweep. Bring out the broomsticks, hopefully. Be their first time all season, if they win tomorrow, being over 500. But already it's a successful series. They've won a series. Yep. They've won 3 series in a row. They swept Philadelphia, and then they took 2 or 3 from Miami, and now they've taken the first 2 against Minnesota. So off to a good start. See if they can keep it up. But join us tomorrow we'll see if should be me and Eric. Hopefully, I don't know if you're available, Carlos, tomorrow.
Possibly.
Yeah, we'll probably, I think, let me just double check. I think the game time when I looked earlier was 10:10, but let me be sure. Just check the phone real quick. Schedule. Giants tomorrow are playing, 10:10. So that's probably setting up for a 12:30 to 1 o'clock finish, somewhere between there if everything holds true the way things have been going. So someone is asking who is pitching tomorrow. Pitching matchup tomorrow for the Giants. They've got DeScalfani against Joe Ryan, the right-handed pitcher.
Ryan's good.
Yeah, he's got a 6-1 record, a 2.25 ERA in 56 innings. He struck out 66 and only walked 8 men. So the Giants are going to have to, get the ball and play tomorrow, not strike out. But
if the Giants get into that Twins bullpen, that Twins bullpen is garbage.
Yeah. So will be a tough game tomorrow. See how DeScalfani does. But anyway, everyone, thanks for joining tonight. Look for us tomorrow after the Giants game. Everybody have yourself a great night. We'll see you later.
See you.